Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, going all right. Just you know, busy evening. Got to hang out with Robot Head earlier this evening. That was a great deal of fun.
That was fun. Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
nice chat about The Force Awakens.
Well, for the time that we could spend just talking about Force Awakens, we we were frequently diverting to talk about the other Star Wars films because they're far more controversial. But yeah, no, we had a good conversation. It was a lot of fun.
And we also mentioned Brendan Fraser, and that
Yes,
that was
apparently
very
that's a
important
thing
stuff.
that
Yeah.
that needs to get mentioned every week now. Let's talk about Brendan Fraser.
I feel like for some reason we're not getting the chat from Rumble in our system here.
Hmm.
Oh, here now I think we're starting to get it.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up until we actually
Oh,
go
okay.
live. So yeah.
Got it. So now it looks like we're picking up on both of them, so that's going okay. And yeah, it's been quite a day. I'm trying to think. By the way, I put it in the thumbnail. I watched a movie today.
Oh yeah.
I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, a remake of it.
It's a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. And the funny thing is that I admittedly have never actually seen the original. Have you watched the original?
I have not seen the original. It's the second one, I think. There's a
What's up?
second one? Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. I have seen this. I've seen that movie.
You know, I've heard about it over the years. They tried to do more remakes, more sequels, more prequels, whatever they did. Never really took interest in it. But I saw that there was a new movie and there wasn't a lot of stuff happening this weekend that was new and that like I could even tolerate. And just out of curiosity, I said, you know what? I'll go watch it. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that later in the stream today. But I did see that movie, so you're going to get an early review because I believe I saw the first screening available that you could watch it, and then I came to the robot stream and the other stream and this stream, but already seen it, like the early screening. I saw it. We can talk about it for whoever even cares, but I think it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting conversation. In addition to that, uh, I'm trying to think. There was something today about Trump with healthcare. Did you notice anything? It was appearing in my feed, but honestly, I was running around so much I didn't even know. Did he promise like some kind of reform? Hasn't he been saying that for years? Like what's special about today that he says that he has some other ideas or something?
Hmm. I was pretty busy today too, so I'm curious because I did not see anything about that. I saw a few other things, but
Well, if I missed anything, you let me know what it is.
let's see. Uh, no.
I
Something about him saying that he was in good health. Okay.
There was something, yeah, again with his health. Why there was something with an MRI, or I don't know
Oh,
what they.
everyone wants to try that now. After Democrats let basically a brain dead skeleton sit in the Oval Office for 4 years. Now they want everyone to think that no, Trump is the one who's has
Yeah, and
declining health
also
and
the thing is
mental issues. Yeah.
Trump is able to sit there and talk to people about whatever they're asking him. You may not like his answers and you may think that he's annoying, but he sits there and he answers the questions. He knows what they're saying, he knows what he's answering, and whatever he answers seems to make some kind of logical sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, there was something about. I guess he said something about basically saying that if we wanted health insurance to be more affordable, that we shouldn't be subsidizing health insurance companies. We should be, uh, if anything, just help giving money directly to people to help take care of it rather than paying more money to insurance companies. But I don't. not seeing much of anything here.
I saw something. Wait,
$1,500 checks
that
to
sounds good. Is he
Americans
sending one to me?
to for healthcare, but are they? I don't understand. Like, are they just gonna send me $1,500 and be like, "You better spend it on healthcare," or like,
Is that how it works? I don't know. I don't.
I have no idea. I have
You
no
know,
idea.
it would be nice if somebody did something with healthcare.
Well, they need to they need to make sure there's more competition. Um, there was a plan a few years ago when they were talking about what they would do potentially to get rid of or replace the the Affordable Care Act, which has proven to be anything but. That involved actually deregulating a bit on insurance so that you could allow different healthcare company you did because right now, if you want to sell insurance, I have to set up an insurance company in state X. And if I want to sell in state Y, I also have to go over to state Y and set up a whole new different insurance company. And say, if we would allow it to open up and let all of these different companies compete with each other across state lines, we could have larger groups, larger pools of money, and then there could be a lot more competition across, in different areas. I mean, there's numerous healthcare companies that are out there in different areas that people are fairly happy with. They do a pretty good job in the way that they're managed. Not that anybody loves insurance companies, obviously, but there's other options out there, but maybe not in your state, right? It's like say Kaiser Permanente, like they're not anywhere near me. They're not in any state I've ever lived in, right? So there's things that could be done to help
Here, I think I found this
affordability,
thing. This is
but
from today. This is what I was looking at. Let me see if I can share it.
Means more than 20 million Americans are now
Can you
bracing for
hear
their
it?
healthcare costs to
yeah.
soar. Is the president prepared to let this happen, or is he going to step in?
The president is prepared to take action on health care, and he wants Republicans on the Hill to do the same. As you have seen,
Why is she
Senate
whispering?
Republicans put forth their own legislation earlier this week. As for the
Can you hear
subsidies
what
that
she's
are
saying,
set to
Professor?
expire, I would like to
Yeah.
remind you and everybody at home why this is on the brink of happening. Democrats wrote Obamacare. They passed it without a single Republican vote, and then they ballooned it with these expensive COVID subsidies that completely distorted the health insurance market. And then they doubled down, extending those subsidies and setting their own expiration date right now in 2025, which the administration is obviously well aware of. And we are working, the president is working with his healthcare policy team here at the White House, as well as Republicans on Capitol Hill, to find a solution.
He said he's working to find a solution. He wants to see a solution to lower healthcare costs.
He does.
But these subsidies are expiring at the end of the year. So what is the plan, and what is he going to do to put this in place in the next 2-3 weeks?
You'll hear more from the president and from the White House on that very soon. As for wanting a solution to lower healthcare costs, I'm glad you said it, because the president is doing just that. He has made unprecedented progress towards lowering healthcare costs in this country and drug prices. He's secured numerous most favored nation drug price deals, with many more to come. As you know, the One Big Beautiful Bill, the working family tax cut, significantly expanded access to health savings accounts for those on Obamacare. Again, a Democrat written program and approved program, which has led to higher healthcare costs in this country. So it goes back to the issue of affordability. Democrats are now pretending they want a solution to this issue, but they created the problem. The president and Republicans are currently coming up with creative solutions and ideas to lower healthcare costs for the American people, and you'll continue to hear more from them on that.
Before these subsidies expire?
I just said you're going to continue to hear more from the president and Republicans on this issue, I'm sure.
It now
What did you think of all of that, Professor?
It just sounds like, well, there's a plan. We have a plan.
But there isn't a plan, you say.
Okay, so what? What is the plan? Well, we'll talk more about that later. Okay, great.
I mean,
I'll be honest. This is one thing that's been happening with Donald Trump and with his administration that we've heard a number of times already, and we've heard this from Republicans too for years. Oh, there's a plan. We have a plan. We're going to do the. We've got a plan for healthcare, but then we never hear it.
we never hear
Okay,
it.
we never hear it, and I'm getting really sick of it because at this point, like if you haven't sat down with all of these different think tanks that are out there and all these different groups to figure out how the hell you could take care of healthcare, ideas that you could put in place. They're out there. There's plenty of think tanks that have said, "Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, whatever." But the truth is that for a lot of these people, they feel like it's a third rail. If they touch it and they do anything, there's a risk they might not get reelected. Right? It's one of those same issues that we've had for ages where nobody wants to do anything because if they do something, they might actually solve a problem and it's not something they can run on anymore. And it really irritates me. And I'm tired of hearing, "Oh, there's a plan," or there's an idea of a plan or whatever. No, propose something. Get out there and do something. And you know what? It might end up with people saying, "Oh, I'm pissed off because now my healthcare costs more." And then there's going to be other people who are going to say, "Well, now my healthcare costs less because now, I actually do get to choose my own doctor. I do actually get to, decide what my plan looks like. I do have a better market to shop in." Where there's going to be other people that are going to be angry that you've taken away their healthcare subsidies, you've taken away their free money that they were getting from the government. So, I mean, as far as the Republicans and conservatives, uh, you know what? The people who are going to lose that money, a lot of them weren't going to vote for you anyway. So just move on it. Do something.
All I know is that if you start getting into the thing where you need medication or hospitals or premiums or all that stuff, those companies are really, really shifty when it comes to how much money they take from you. And a lot of times it feels like a racket and a scam. And if there's something that you could do to put a lot of these companies in check somehow, because some of their practices are, in my opinion, a bit shady, if there was something you could do about that, that would be cool. But just saying that you have a plan all the time, like you said, it goes nowhere. I've been hearing it for years. He said in his last term also, he's like, "Well, I don't like Obamacare, but I understand why you don't like it, but you have to come up with something else."
Yeah, you got to actually like do something. Like make these proposals. And you know what? When you make the proposal, yes, the mainstream media is going to tell you it's terrible and this is why it's going to do such awful things to people and you're going to be killing people or whatever. Like that's going to happen. It doesn't matter what their actual proposals are. No matter how beneficial they are, no matter how well, how well they might work, no matter how well thought out that might be. It doesn't matter. The mainstream media and the people on the other side of the aisle are going to say horrible things about it. And it's just so what they've just allowed everything to happen is to allow the uh you know uh, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, to just continue to fail and fail more and fail worse and continue to rack up the debt of we have to keep subsidizing everyone who's in this plan, and it's destroyed private insurance, it's destroyed all this other stuff. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And the fact that Republicans have been talking about this for so many years and they haven't done anything. They're in power now. Step up and do something.
Right, right. I agree with you. I think something needs to be done, and there is better ways. Even with all that Obamacare and all that stuff, I mean, there's ways to make this healthcare system better for sure. I don't think that Obama's solution was good, but it doesn't mean that there can't be a solution. It just feels like nobody is willing to do anything, and that's the part that's really frustrating. But on a more positive note, I saw that Trump pardoned that Tina Peters lady, although I don't think it's gonna help him because, she has the federal thing, they left her alone, and he pardoned her for that, but there's something local, I think she's in Colorado or what, I don't know where she is, the governor would have to set her free, and I guess they don't want to set her free. Do you know anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about it.
I think this is a latest, like a recent development. Now, I can't say that I've watched some stuff in the past that apparently she was critical of how things went in some election in 2020, and I don't know how she ended up or why she ended up in jail. I'll be honest, I've never fully understood exactly what happened with her. It just seems, without me knowing, and I could be that there's something crucial that I don't know, but considering that I see all these criminals that they keep letting them out every second that have done like terrible things, this lady that questioned something about the elections and was trying to say that she thought that there was some kind of fraud in the voting system, for her to sit for years in jail, I'm not 100% sure why, you know? And maybe there's something I don't know. I'm not 100% sure why she's in jail.
Hmm.
I don't know if you know anything more about it.
I don't know anything more about that one. No.
So let me see for a second.
Yeah, we can look something up.
So this is Trump's thing. Let me share this screen. Hold on a second. So we have this thing here. For years, can we see it? For years, Democrats ignored violent and vicious crimes of all shapes, sizes, colors, and types. Violent criminals who should have been locked up were allowed to attack again. True, true. That's what I was saying. Democrats were also far too happy to let in the worst from the worst countries so they could rip off American taxpayers. True. Democrats only think there is one crime: not voting for them. Instead of protecting Americans and their tax dollars, Democrats chose instead to prosecute anybody they could find that wanted safe and secure elections. Democrats have been relentless in their targeting of Tina Peters, a patriot who simply wanted to make sure that our elections were fair and honest. Tina is sitting in a Colorado prison for the quote unquote crime of demanding honest elections. Today, I'm
Yeah.
granting Tina a full pardon of her attempts to expose voter fraud in the rigged 2020 presidential election. So I think that what happens now, though, the problem is that you have the governor of Colorado has to agree to let her go because I guess Trump is basically saying there's not going to be any federal charges, but there's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, and then somebody here said. Tina Peters was convicted by a jury of her peers, prosecuted by a Republican district attorney, and found guilty of violating Colorado state laws, including criminal impersonation. No president has jurisdiction over state law nor the power to pardon a person for state convictions. This is a matter for the courts to decide, and we will abide by court orders. The thing is that, like I said, I admit I am not an expert. I always remember reading that this lady was claiming that they did some fraud in the elections, and then somehow she ended up in jail. What exactly she did and why she ended up in jail, I'm not 100% sure. Uh, I do feel like maybe there's some kind of political thing behind it.
It
But
sure feels like
regardless,
it.
what'd you say?
It sure feels like it. It feels like there was something
Uh,
political behind it.
yeah, and the thing is that here, let me see. This is from October 3rd, 2024. Tina Peters gets 9 years in prison. And some person was like celebrating it. I'm just not 100% sure. Let's say even there was something that she did and they said she wasn't good, it was good. The question is, because I didn't understand that she committed some huge crime, sitting 9 years in prison when you have these kind of criminals that do much worse things, that you see them on the street after 5 minutes, one has to wonder. But I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting. Let's see. Somebody here wrote, Colorado state officials are currently hiding evidence from voters recently provided to them by federal officials about the 2020 election fraud in their state. They could be facing federal election fraud charges. I don't know what's going to happen here, but all I know is that it's at least a step in some direction. Who knows if Colorado is going to let her out or not?
Yeah.
Anyhow, just that was a recent development, so it was worth pointing out. What else? What else went on today? Is there anything interesting?
Hmm. Well, other things today.
The Falcons won last minute, that's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, I saw that.
That was a last second thing.
Let's see. Of course, there was the Game Awards today. We can talk about that later on.
Okay.
If you want. I mean, to be
Yeah,
honest,
no, you're usually knowledgeable.
hasn't been a great day or a great year for video games, so it's not really all that interesting.
What's the thing with Sean Ryan? I saw that his name pop up in my feed also in the past few hours, but I don't know why. Let me see if I can find it. Sean Ryan. Dan Crenshaw is going after Sean Ryan. I'm not
Sean Ryan
100%.
he's a podcast or streamer.
You know, I guess I'm a boomer, man. He's a podcaster. And
letter from lawyers representing Congressman Dan Crenshaw. They are threatening to sue me for defamation because of comments I made on my podcast about a message that he sent me. They want me to remove content, issue a public apology, and stop talking about him. I'm not going to do any of that. Let me give you full context so you can judge for yourself. What I originally said a while back, I commented on my show about Congressman Crenshaw throwing an extremely expensive party and the fact that he seems to have become quite wealthy during his time in Congress. I raised questions about how a congressman making $174,000 a year can afford that kind of a lifestyle.
I do have something important to
$1,000
tell you here, Professor.
Yep.
Can afford that kind of
Let me see. How do I make this thing go away?
a lifestyle. Expensive party, and the fact that he seems to have become quite wealthy during his
So
time in
Steve
Congress.
Aoki,
I raised questions
I
about how a
once
congressman making
worked with him many years ago on something.
$174,000 a year can afford that kind of a lifestyle. These are legitimate questions. And to be honest, I didn't even mention Dan Crenshaw's name in that initial conversation. I just brought up the fact that he was having Steve Aoki, a major DJ, spin at his party. And then, let's fast forward a couple years and they got Steve Aoki DJing their 40th birthday party. How does that happen?
I don't have firsthand experience in this. I have often questioned the same thing.
The thing is, Steve Aoki, you know how there used to be Benihana? You know what that is?
Yeah.
So there was a guy called Aoki who was the guy that created the original Benihana. Now, Steve Aoki is this guy's son, and he became kind of a very popular DJ. There was an event once many years ago that I believe I booked him to do a DJ set at, and I think I recall that I actually met him. I was at this event and I met him. I didn't say anything below, beyond hi. I had like nothing else to say to him. And honestly, I know this is going to sound terrible. I'm going to sound like a terrible person, Professor. I'm not saying he was the worst DJ ever, but I also didn't say, sit there thinking like, wow, this is so great. You know, a lot of times these DJs and I've run into a lot and been involved in events that had DJs and stuff like that. A lot of them don't impress me or just seem like they're overrated or they seem like somebody else could do a similar job to them. With DJ, it's a lot of time just kind of this poser thing. You build the right crowd, you're with the right like models, you're hanging out, you look like, cool. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not always like, so what? So you do a set. You could even prepare like a set at home and click play on something and make it look like you're listening to your headphones and doing cool stuff. Nobody's going to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could give you a set and I could put you in back of like a few turntables or whatever it is, or CDJs or whatever they have now, and you're gonna move your head and make like these cool faces, and people will think that you're doing a great DJ set. Do you get what I'm trying to say, Professor?
Sure.
So I don't know how I got to talking about this, but in any case, Steve Aoki, back in the day, during my time, I think that it wasn't uncommon to give the guy between like $10,000 to $20,000 for a DJ set. Like if you wanted to book him for that night, it was $10,000 to $20,000. I have a feeling that he's significantly more now. I have a feeling that this is already like a six-figure situation. So that's the one thing that I can say, that I would be surprised if Aoki takes less than, let's say, 100 grand. Still, I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't know why he had that money for his birthday or whatever it is. I can't tell you, but yeah, I'm sure that Steve Aoki is not cheap. Also, if you remember, there was that artist DJ, like the DJ AM, and that was like a big deal. That guy, he used to make the big money. And then what happened was is that he first of all, he was in a plane crash with that Travis Barker, and then at the end, what ended up happening was is that he sunk into a depression and then ended up I don't know if he deleted himself or something like that. And then there was a void. They couldn't they needed to fill the void of what happened to DJ AM. And if I'm not mistaken, because I used to work with these people, the people that represented Aoki were the same people that represented AM. So they sort of boosted Aoki into being like, oh, Aoki's the new guy. So then he started getting the bigger bucks. You don't care about
I
any of this,
see.
but I'm just
Yeah.
explaining to you, just
No,
giving
no.
finally I know something, you know what I mean? Like, I know something from personal experience that I could throw in here. So, Steve Aoki, most people wouldn't even know what that means. I was able to give, like, some additional context that I know firsthand. And yeah, and as far as this thing, I don't know why Crenshaw is getting upset at him. At the end of the day, this guy is allowed to criticize his parties. I don't know this podcaster. I don't listen to him. I have no idea what he talks about. He could be a great podcaster. He could be talking a bunch of shit. Sorry, Sean, I have no idea. But what I will say is that he certainly has a right to talk to some about some guy's birthday party and how he spent money on Steve Aoki, which is probably at least six figures. So
Yeah. Yeah. And how, there, we've seen some stuff too with they're now starting to really dig into Ilhan Omar. I saw something about that earlier today.
oh, you can show
Uh,
that.
let
Phantom
me.
says, wasn't he in Iron Man? DJ AM was in Iron Man. That's how big DJ AM was. He was like the
Mhm.
number one DJ guy that they're all like, kissing his ass. He was in that movie. That was like a big deal. And yeah, so then after that, Aoki became like the guy that they're really kind of pushing. And Spin Records, but they're buying Steve Aoki to come to their party. Uh, he does great shows. I don't know who they're talking about. It's the name. That's what I was saying. It's the name. They're buying the name. Any idiot could. Yeah, exactly. I mean, uh, like I was in this kind of sort of business. I've done stuff that had to do with DJs, and yeah, a lot of times they would pay an enormous amount of money for DJs, and I don't think it's worth it. Like those type of Tiestos, a long time, like I don't know if what he does now, but for many years, like Paul Oakenfold would get a lot, DJ Tiesto, Calvin Harris, things like that. David Guetta. There's another one that's shoot what Bob Sinclair. That was another one. These guys, they would pay them so much money to get like six figures, just stop by for like 90 minutes and play some CDs and leave is wild. You know what I mean? That is a wild, wild payday to give you six figures for that, professor. I I I feel like, I don't want to be mean, you know what I mean? But it feels like it's too much if you ask me.
Could
Then
very
again, I
well be.
guess it's
Sorry.
it's
Yeah.
supply and demand, sometimes all they wanna be able to put the name on the flyer, but do you get what I'm saying? That a lot of it is, I don't wanna say a sham, that's not nice that I'm saying a sham, but all of this is sort of like, it kind of reminds me, how in art you have a guy that, like, paints a toilet and then they wanna buy his painting for $1,000,000 and you don't understand why? Some of these DJs, I feel like they build a name, it's more that you're bringing this guy and his name, but really, is there something so special about his DJ set? I think that these days,
Mhm.
like, AI could probably do a DJ set like that guy. I don't know that the guy is, like, bringing so much to the table in many cases.
Mhm.
Anyhow, what were you gonna say about Elon Omar?
Well, there's been some recent stories talking about Ilhan Omar, and earlier today, because of course she's been closely tied to
Her brother.
to the new scandals that are going on there with all these billions of dollars of money that were uh, that were stolen uh, in the various different scandals there with the aid programs and all of this stuff. And so there's this massive amount of money that was stolen there. And so earlier today, this is Newsweek is the story that I have here, but we can share it. If it will let me share. Try again. Okay, worked that time. Okay. The Trump border czar, Tom Homan, has said publicly that it says here, uh, appearance on Monday on Newsmax, the administration is investigating Representative Ilhan Omar for alleged immigration fraud. I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, can we review the files? There was immigration fraud. There was immigration fraud involved. Homan said on Newsmax, the statute of limitations became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. He continued, pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're going to look at it. But this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best investigators at HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he would review the file. So I'm running that down this week, as a matter of fact. So on top of now, it looks like she is potentially very closely tied to, if not directly involved in some of this fraud that was going on there. For instance, she has, as you know, she's been married multiple different times. One of them potentially to her brother. This is one of the claims
And
that's out
and
there
like
that they're
I just wanna quickly say that I always tell you is that she always presents herself as like, a woman of a certain faith. Well, that faith would never accept a woman that keeps getting divorced every 5 minutes, which raises a whole lot of questions. It
unless she's
Unless they
doing
weren't
it
real marriages, yes.
to help people, yeah, with their naturalization
100%.
status. Yeah,
Unless there was
exactly.
something fishy about it, and then, because otherwise, in their culture, that what she's doing, that could be something that, like, you're ended, your Minecraft, you're ended, you're deleted, whatever you wanna call it. They do not tolerate that kind of thing. Now, if she was just a woman not wearing all the, things on her head and all this stuff, like, whatever, then you'd think, well, she's a modern woman. But if she's supposedly adhering to those rules, it certainly is it's a huge red flag that this lady keeps, like, getting married and divorced. It's considered inconceivable within their religion, such a thing. But now go on. Sorry.
Well, so the other thing is that, of course, she's been, you know, married a bunch of different times, divorced a bunch of different times. The guy that she's married to at the moment, white guy, apparently. Uh, but when she married him, when she was her net worth while she was in Congress was less than $100,000. In the last few years, all while all of this fraud that was happening in her state, in her district, was happening, her net worth has jumped to $30 million. How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Don't think that happens legitimately. I don't think she's magically picking stocks that are getting her a 4,000% return.
I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, she's not the only person that I would say that in all those circles in Congress.
No, absolutely not.
But
But
yeah.
they're digging hard into all of this fraud that happened in that state, and I'm really interested to see if they connect some of it back to her or her spouse.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you this. This is the one thing that I will say. They keep saying all this stuff and nothing has happened to anybody. No, every time they're like, okay, we're going to crack down. Finally, we're going to do this and this, and nothing happens. Nothing, nobody files anything. Nobody does anything.
I don't
And
know. I think Trump really wants to get rid of her. This is a quote
I mean,
from his
there's
Trump
certainly
rally.
I certainly think that there's grounds in her case, especially with the brother,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, you could say that it sounds shitty or whatever it is. I'm not as of like much of a I'm not a hard line like some of the people are, even people that I know and talk to and all that stuff. I'm not a hardliner, but I will say this: there's one thing that I 100% agree upon. She came from a country that was a complete disaster, that everything is the worst. And to come from there with all this, kind of strange things with a brother and all this weird thing, and to somehow plant herself here, get into Congress and hate America and do all this stuff, it's just, it feels, it feels like we're kind of suckers. You know what I'm saying? There's a
I know
feeling
what you
that
mean.
we're suckers in this whole situation.
Yeah.
Markster
Yeah.
Seven says George Santos got kicked out in jail. You know what? I agree with you. Uh, sometimes sometimes things have to be uncovered, and people have to you know do something about it. In her case, it's a very extreme case. I know that there's a lot of corruption, and I'm sure that you're not going to be able to uncover all the corruption and do all the stuff that you want to do to all the people you want to do. But in her case, it's such an extreme situation of a woman that hates this country, came here in a strange way, did strange things, making a lot of money, hating America. Where else could she have done this? Where else could she come and make $30 million, who knows how, and do all this weird stuff? What you think in Somalia they would have allowed any of this to happen there? Why does she hate this place so much? If all she does is like manipulate everything and make money and take advantage of the system, why does she hate this place so much?
Because it sells, because she wants to change it. She wants to try and turn our country into the same shithole that she came from.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just it's so strange to me, and it's such a disgrace that this lady was even ever elected. There's a few people in Congress that from I think are a disgrace. Uh, yeah, I think of her. There's a few others there, in the squad or whatever it is. She's not alone there, but she's definitely. If I had to point out like a top two or top three of like the ones that annoy me the most, she's certainly there. Uh, I think that the Republicans also from time to time. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I've never been a fan. I've said it before. I've never been a fan of like, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's always seemed like a weirdo to me personally. People are like, no, no, she's a stand-up lady. She's a stand-up. I don't know what she stands up on.
No, I
I've never had a good feeling about her, and I don't have a good feeling about her now. Uh, for whatever it's worth, even before all this stuff happened with Trump, I've been consistent. I've said in the past that I don't think much of her, and I continue to not think much of her. That's my personal opinion, of course, but
no, I've never thought much of her either. I know there's people who are on the right, who are in the center, who think that perhaps, oh, no, she's based. She knows this and that and whatever. So I'm sorry, I don't see it. I think she's a conspiracy theory goof. They're saying, oh, she's stepping away from her, she's leaving her role in the Senate so she can start preparing her presidential run. She will get obliterated on a debate stage. She is not smart. Sorry. She's not. She's
no,
a
I don't think she
conspiracy
is.
theory kook. Uh, on occasion, she's been, out there arguing for the right things and being
Right. I
outrageous and
mean,
ridiculous. And then on other occasions, she's an absolute embarrassment. And Jewish space lasers. Yes, that's True
Yeah,
court
I mean, the
eviction.
thing is that, even, like, what do they say? Even a broken, clock is right twice a day or whatever it is. So
Sure.
sometimes you have situations like that, but, yeah, I'm personally, I'm not a fan of her, I don't know, but that's just me.
Nope. I have never been a fan of hers either. I don't think she's all that special. I don't think she was all that capable, and I think once she steps away from Congress, I mean, well, I wouldn't say we've heard the last of her, but it's the last time she's going to be holding any kind of major office. I think she's a loon, and
Well,
she's not going to be.
time will tell, but all I know is that
Yeah.
there's one thing that I'll tell you. Once you start going against your own party, it's never a good look. Forget
Mm-mm.
about the internal thing, you like her, you don't like her. Once you start going against your own party, it's something that, like, in the immediate aftermath, you'll be embraced by certain people and maybe whatever, and you'll get a few headlines and interviews and whatever it is, but generally speaking, I think in the long run, you're not doing yourself any favor. So that's just my opinion. I mean, there have been certain situations where people have maybe, like, left their party, but we think about stuff like Robert F. Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard. But
Sure.
I think that in their case, there was a situation that their own party really kind of pushed them out, not giving them, in Tulsi Gabbard's case, they didn't give her a fair opportunity to run when Joe Biden couldn't, and I think that this really bothered her because in her mind, she would have, like you said, obliterated Kamala Harris, but they never gave her a chance to. I feel like that bothered her, and because she wasn't like a hard left, Tulsi Gabbard, I think that they never really embraced her. So you had that. RFK, they considered him kind of a weirdo, but whatever they considered him, they went through great efforts for him not to run as an independent. And I think that that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That if had they just let him run as an independent, he probably would have just let it slide. But once they were like actively not even letting him run as an independent and like filing all these like lawsuits in New York and all this stuff, I think that he had it. And those were very specific cases, and I do think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is different, especially because I don't think that the left is going to really embrace her. I don't see them suddenly giving her a role in some cabinet there. You know what I mean?
Oh no, she's nothing but a useful idiot. If she shows up and she says nasty things about Trump, they're going to cheer her on until she says something that they don't like, and then she's dirt to them. She means nothing. She's there as essentially she's being held up by people on the left because she was a traitor to her party. That's the only reason that they care about her. Is
Right.
that she now says bad things about Trump. Oh, look, she was a Trump ally. Now she's not. So, we're gonna hold her up, to show, look, people defect from Trump. And then as soon as that effect is worn off, they're gone.
Right. In Trump's
They won't even answer her phone calls.
right, but also keep in mind, in Trump's case, he said, "Hey, why don't you join me? And you're going to have like a real role in my administration." And credit to him, he didn't just say that and then run away. Like he said that and he gave him roles. Like he meant what he said, and it was a completely different situation. Also, to be quite honest, I especially Tulsi Gabbard rate her much higher than Marjorie Taylor Greene. And when it
Yeah.
comes to Robert F. Kennedy, look, he's kind of a strange guy. I in some odd way, I don't dislike him. I actually kind of do like him for some reason, but he is kind of out there. He can be out there sometimes with his conspiracy theories, although sometimes he does make sense in some odd way.
Sure. Yeah.
And once in a while, I mean, there's certain things that he's like, oh, why are they putting this like weird like food coloring and all this stuff that like is unhealthy? Once in a while, he'll like go on a rant about something, and it'll actually be true. Sometimes I think that maybe he maybe is too leans too hard into that stuff, but sometimes I do agree with him. It's just maybe not always.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I think somebody did something on YouTube.
On the YouTubes.
I think we have
Yes, we've got a few super chats we need to get to, and we also got a gift from a Karate Werewolf membership.
okay,
Gift
so
memberships.
let's do all of this. It's good that we noticed this. We're gonna check that out right now. And yeah, so I wanna share this right now, Professor. Don't worry. This is all gonna be fine. Okay. First of all, from the Dead Man, 4.99. Thank you very much, the Dead Man. Dead Man is a friend of the channel. He does his own Star Trek stuff on his channel, which you should check out. If the ACA is so affordable, then why does it have to be subsidized?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's these subsidies. They're saying, well, healthcare costs are going to skyrocket for people. Yeah, great. We get that. We understand that. If we continue to subsidize it, the costs will continue to grow. The subsidies will have to continue to grow, and then the government will be spending $83 billion a year on subsidizing healthcare for people in plans that suck and cost too much because the insurance companies know they're guaranteed this money from the ACA, so they just keep raising prices. Like,
I see.
this doesn't work. It's just going to continue to grow. The subsidies will have to continue to grow if we think we're going to keep healthcare from going up. And then again, it's not for everybody. I'm not getting a healthcare subsidy to keep my prices down. Just someone who's in the, ACA is going to get that.
Right.
And only certain people. Right. So they're saying like these healthcare costs are gonna skyrocket. Some of them saying they're gonna go up 114%. Hey, you know what happened after the ACA was passed? My insurance went up over 100%.
That happened to a lot of people. That happened to me as well.
My insurance cost doubled over 2 years, just 2 years after they passed the ACA.
I 100% agree. I think that this negatively affected everybody. I'll tell you this. I mean, in the interest of being a little fair, I know people that would be considered in the disabled group or something like that, and I think that where they lived, the Obamacare Act specifically did help them, but probably with the exception of these people that had a disability, that it somehow in some way assisted them, most other people suffered from it. Meaning, it's not that I'm unhappy that it helped somebody, but I don't think that it necessarily helped everybody, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. And if the healthcare costs on this plan that was passed entirely by Democrats, not one single Republican vote, passed in the middle of the night without most of the bill even being read,
I remember that.
or if that is causing people's health insurance to get more expensive, that's the Democrats' fault. Not the fault of somebody not passing subsidies. And so they have to own it.
That's true.
That
I
sucks
tend to
for
agree
people.
with-
It sucks. I'm sorry that some of you who have had your health care subsidized by the federal government are going to have to pay more. That blows. It does. Guess what? There's a lot of us who didn't have our health care subsidized by the federal government who've been paying a lot more for years without a single federal dollar to help us offset the cost of that.
Elizabeth Quinn says we could have free healthcare if we stopped all immigration. Anything's possible. The next thing I wanted to say, the Dead Man for 199 says you have the House and Senate, do something for fuck's sake. Sorry, Sean. And yeah, Professor, they're not going to have the House and Senate forever.
No.
Are they really getting enough stuff done? Because there's a lot of stuff being said, but then when we look at it, sometimes in some cases they do something, and in some cases it's talk, but people don't do anything.
Are they doing thing? I don't know. I don't know if they're doing stuff or not. Sometimes I wonder.
Do you
right?
think that the next time there's midterms or whatever, that'll be it? Like once you don't have that kind of majority, it's going to be more difficult.
If either the House or the Senate are lost to Democrats in the midterm, Trump is a lame duck president. They will never help him pass his agenda. They will do absolutely everything to prevent him from passing his agenda. If the Democrats take the House, the next 2 years of Trump's term will be nothing but investigations being launched inside of the House into this thing and that thing and whatever. They're gonna impeach him every 5 minutes. They're gonna do, seriously. This it's what they did last time, right? That is what will happen. They need to be working. They, instead of sitting back and saying, "Oh well, if we do something, we might make people angry and might not get reelected." No, how about you step up and you actually do something, and then if it's a good idea and it works, then you get to keep your job. Then maybe other people who are running for, open seats can step up and say, we support this, we're running for this, whatever. Like, it's so tiring that this happens. It's every single cycle. It's always just, well, we don't want to upset, we don't want to change the status quo, we don't want to, rock the boat. This is one of the reasons why one of the things that we need so badly in the House and in the Senate is term limits. Because now the only thing anybody does once they are elected to office, the only thing they're concerned about is their next election.
Right.
They say, we won, let's go and let's make change, let's do what we said we're going to do, and then day 2 of their term in office, they're thinking about what they're going to do to make sure they get elected again. That's all they care about.
All they care about.
And how much money they can make off of their job, off their position in the House or the Senate or whatever. It's absolutely infuriating. So yeah, this healthcare stuff, like stop fiddling with the ACA stuff. Like, Republicans, you've got a chance here to come in and say, oh, look, the ACA is broken. It doesn't work. That's why it has to have all these subsidies. Let's offer something else. But so far, nothing.
Nothing.
And it's getting old. It's getting real old.
I'm
Because
just
they've been
concerned.
arguing about this for what? ACA passed in when?
Years ago.
Yeah, it's been like 8 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time and they haven't done anything. And yeah, who knows what'll happen with that midterm. Now, I also want to point out that
That's
Karate
years.
Werewolf he gifted
2010.
5 Price of Reason Live
16
gift
years.
memberships. That was very kind of you. Thank you, Karate Werewolf. Karate Werewolf has a wonderful name. Absolutely like his name, Karate Werewolf. It's memorable. It's good. And thank you. Thank you for the gift and that other people get this gift. So I'm thanking you on behalf of myself and on behalf of them. And the Dead Man, also always great to see you, in your super chats. Birdhouse Blues was saying something about certain groups of people committing crimes in the chat, but for several different reasons, I will steer away from that because I don't really know what else to say about it.
Yeah.
I also struggle with this sometimes. I don't like taking a group of people in general and throwing them all under a bus. It's
Yeah.
very easy to say, well, this person committed a crime, so let's just like paint everybody in that brush or attach that to anybody who has that background. And from my own experience in life, I feel like I've met people of all backgrounds, and there's good people in every group. There's bad people in every group as well. And I try, even though sometimes it could be tempting, and I can understand the temptation, I try not to do that thing where you just lump everybody together and just say, well, they're all like this. Because I think you're first of all, missing out on getting to know people that maybe are not like that, and writing them off before you actually know them or things like that. It's just not something that I like to do. Not that I'm saying that there isn't crime, and not that I'm saying sometimes, oh, look at this demographic, this and that. Yeah, I know that happens. I'm not ignoring it, but I also I try to also, keep an open mind that there's good people in every group, and I prefer kind of always having that in my mind, no matter what I'm thinking and what I'm saying. Like, it's something that is on my mind. I don't know if I explained myself well.
No, sure. I got what you said. Yeah, there's many people, many backgrounds. I've talked about this with people before, saying, there are reasons, there are general generalizations that we can make about people, but at the same time, we have to remember that everybody's an individual. Everybody has their own story, they have their own background. Uh, you know, if you want to talk generalizations and stuff like that, then a lot of times you're gonna be wrong about a lot of people, because I guess everyone's an individual. Everyone has something. They grew up in a different family. They grew up in a different household. It's I asked some people in a room one time. We were sitting and we were talking, and I said, uh, which person in the room uh, grew up next to a crack house? And they were joking. Oh well, we can't make that kind of a generalization, because there was a black man that was sitting with us in the room, and I said, well, you think it would be him? No, it was me. When I was growing up, there was a crack house next door.
I see.
They sold drugs out of that house, and people would come over and they'd get high and they'd fall asleep in the house and stuff like that. In fact, at one point, we found out there was a house across the street had been vacant for months and wasn't selling. We couldn't figure out, like, because I mean these were fairly affordable homes in this area, and usually they didn't stay on the market for long. And it turned out we were actually talking to some friends, and someone was in the police department. And they said, "Oh no, the police are leasing that house right now." What? I said, yeah, the police are leasing that house because they're watching all the people who are coming and going from that house, and they're tracking them down because they're trying to arrest all these people.
It's
Uh,
funny.
and so it was like, yeah, you can't tell from looking at somebody what kind of life they've lived or where they've come from.
And to be clear, I'm not dismissing that somebody here, in the chat is saying, "Well, I live in Chicago and there's certain demographics and things like that."
Understood.
I,
Understood.
I'm not dismissing that things like that exist, but I also, at the same time, always have this other voice telling me that, I can't just like, I don't know. I don't, like I said, it's not an easy thing to explain, but like I said, tempting sometimes to kind of lump a lot of people together,
Yeah.
or to kind of, through a certain lens look at things because of some statistic or demographic. But I can only say that I've met good people from every group, and that's something that I always keep in mind. Even in those tempting moments where you think, where it's the easy solution is to just say, well, all these people are X, and I I do everything I can to not do that, because it's not fun when somebody does that to you, and it's not fun when you do that to somebody else.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we live in a kumbaya world, or we can't recognize when bad things are happening or ignore everything. But I think that if there's a way to find a balance, that's what I try to do my best, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody is entitled to their opinion. I didn't say that I didn't understand. I mean, if there's a bad neighborhood and there's bad things happening there, I don't wanna go there. I'm not suggesting that I'm, like, delusional. I'm just saying that, I understand what you're saying, and I also have another part of me that, tries to find the good and not just, make like, overall generalizations. Although I'm not dismissing your sentiments. I don't live in Chicago. I assume that if I did live in Chicago, there would be many areas that I wouldn't want to go walk around in. You wouldn't find me there. I did visit Chicago. I'm thinking if I've been there more than once in my entire life, but I was there, I think, like 10 years ago, and I was in places that I don't think I walked around a lot outside. I didn't really go places. I had very specific things that I needed to do there. The only thing I did kind of in my me time is I went to Giordano's, I believe, and I had like a pan pie pizza. Took them like 5 hours to make that thing.
Oh,
'Cause you're
jeez.
no,
Yeah.
you wait there a really long time until they bring it out. They're like, "Oh, like, maybe you want some Caesar salad while you wait for an hour until we bring you this pizza." Because I guess it takes them, like, 70 hours to make this pan pizza thing, and then they brought it out and I ate it, and, I was also in some pier, there were, like, boats and stuff. It's all a blur to me. Anyhow, I understand you too, Birdhouse Blues. I'm not dismissing your sentiments, but yeah, it's, Elizabeth Quinn says my black Christian friends won't live in Chicago. Yeah, I think that in general, Chicago is a place that there's a lot of crime,
I
and
mean,
I
uh,
I,
they call it Chirac for a reason.
I
It's,
guess so.
it's
Yeah.
basically a war zone in most parts of the
And
city.
listen, there
You-
were cases
You're
where
not
I've seen
wrong.
people of all backgrounds saying like that they interview them and they're like, why doesn't Trump send you know National Guard here? Can he send some people here? There's some people that really want that, and that's not just a white thing. There's there's people that are interested in somebody coming in there and cleaning that place up.
No question. Yeah.
Anyhow, I don't know how we got through all of this. We went in a lot of different directions, and we went over Were there additional super chats that I missed? No. Okay, so we did that, and then how do I do this? Stop share screen. Okay. And what else was on our docket?
Well, we could spend a little time chatting about the Supergirl trailer if we want to lighten things up a bit.
Yeah, I guess we can. We're probably gonna get flagged or whatever it
Well,
is.
we can just kind of frame through it if you want. We don't have to
No, it's
watch
fine.
it.
What are like basically? I'm just gonna have to clip it out or whatever it is. So we'll put on the trailer. Uh, what
I've
happened?
heard Caleb Levine. I've heard that term. Minnesota is now known as Snowgadishu.
What?
S- well, I was talking about Chicago being called Chirac. There, Caleb Levine was saying Minnesota is now known as Snowgadishu.
Ah, okay, I got you now.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard somebody say that before. I thought it was very clever.
So let's find this thing.
Yeah, as long as we don't have the sound on, I think we're fine. Because yeah, Sal the hamster was saying Badger say it was the Blondie song that's playing on there that people are getting busted for.
Okay, so I'll turn off the volume and let's see if I can share it. Also, between you and me, I'm going to tell you this. I did a video and I did a reaction and I didn't put the sound on and I was so careful. I used only certain frames and certain this and certain that, and I unfortunately had to then go and re-upload the video because even with all of the precautions that I took, there were issues, and I had to do this like big paste this big thing that said fair use on it, and people could barely see anything. And that was the only way I was able to somehow do it. So it was really
Yeah.
depressing, but let's see. The thing starts, you see like Crypto the dog. I don't know that how
Oh,
they are.
you're not sharing. I didn't
Oh,
see
I'm not
your.
sharing?
Yeah.
They always say like, "Oh, stop trying to make crypto a thing." Like Crypto the dog a thing. Kind of feel that way. So he's like licking. What is he licking? A bottle of vodka or something like that?
Yeah, a bottle of some liquor, most likely, and of course we have a record player, space record player.
Yeah, of course, because it's that kind of quirky James Gunn,
Yeah,
whatever.
because there's other societies in space that use the same media as we do, but old.
And then, of course, you have him show up, and this is the part that everybody noticed. There's an article about Superman saving the town, and
Yep.
I guess there's something about Supergirl saving a cat there on the right.
And
then
she lives on a busted, filthy spaceship, just like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep, and then
Did-
he pees all over Superman's face because
pisses on the newspaper. A story about Superman saving the town from a nuclear reactor explosion, and then there's a tiny little story in the corner there. It says Supergirl saves cats.
the thing is
Yeah.
that they disrespected Superman so much in his own movie. The fact that they think that this is a good idea to now piss on him is so strange to me. It's like this whole thing just seems like such a middle finger to anybody that likes Superman or anything at all. It's such a grumpy and cynical take. And people are saying, well, James Gunn isn't directing this one. James Gunn is the producer, and he is very, very much doing whatever he does here. These people are working for James Gunn and doing what James Gunn does. This is like I said to people. He went to the press. He said, "I'm doing a Guardians of the Galaxy movie." He said that. He said that it's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy style movie, and the reason that he's doing it is because that's what he does.
That's what he does. It's really feeling like he's a one-trick pony, honestly.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything else to offer. All he can do is the same shit over and over again. And then you see her again. We already saw her like this in Superman, and it was terrible.
Yep.
They could have tried to course correct it and make it that she's not a drunk asshole. Sorry, Sean. But of course, she once again is a drunk asshole. Oh,
Yep.
of course. She's cool. She has to fall asleep with her shades, yo.
Yeah, a lot of people have been comparing this also to Hancock, because you got this superhero who's drunk all the time and not very capable. Yeah.
Yep. Although I will say that the one thing I'll give it is that relatively speaking, the ratio isn't terrible for it. It has like a 10%, about 10% dislike to 90% like, which is not terrible. But between you and me, I don't know why people like this, but what do I know? Time will tell when the movie comes out how much they really do like it. But she has a spaceship that arrives. This grumpy face shit, I don't like this, Professor.
No.
This annoys me. I find this fucking annoying. Sorry,
she's
Sean.
Literally just female Star-Lord. That's all she is.
Yep.
She's female Star-Lord.
I agree.
It's kind of pathetic how close this is. I mean, even like wearing the trench coat everywhere and like listening to old media, listening to music from
why would she have some
70s
weird
and
old
80s?
headphones? You could use that once with Star-Lord that supposedly was taken from Earth and he had the thing and fine. You used that thing once and you got away with it. To give her also those stupid things and to have her with the headphones is just so dumb in my opinion. And I'll tell you what, it's like even the Blondie song that, was inserted into this trailer annoys me as well. All of this annoys me. You could get away with that kind of like, he came from Earth, he has a cassette from the 70s. It's funny once, you know what I mean? It works for one franchise. I don't need her to listen to like Blondie on her Walkman, you know what I mean? Like this is just bullshit. It's fucking bullshit, Professor. It's such a rehash and a stupid thing, and he's trying to paste it on something where it doesn't even belong. What's wrong with like epic music and having like real heroes that are optimistic and seem like they're here to do something for positive? Why do we have to have like this cynical, grumpy, douchey jerk off thing? Like, why do we have to do this all the time?
Oh, the cynicism is strong with this one. Yeah, especially there's her little statement that she makes later on about the difference between her and Superman. It's like, oh, please.
Right. I mean, it's like there's this situation. I guess we get to it in a bar, but basically, they're suggesting that she's harder than, I don't know if that's a good word, but I mean, for lack of a better term, she's harder than Superman because she actually went through some deep shit. On Krypton, she had to see some bad things, whereas Superman was shielded. He could just pleasantly go to Earth and like have a great time. Whereas she had to carry the weight of all the tough shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
This stupid trench coat. This just looks like that planet from Guardians of the Galaxy. That this Star-Lord could physically just walk out here. If this wasn't her and I put Star-Lord here, the colors, the design, everything, you would 100% believe that he's like, wherever you
Yeah.
saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's just a
1.
Guardian of the Galaxy movie. That's all it is.
Right.
The whole aesthetic.
Exactly. And then she's like, stupid, whatever. All
Doing
of
the
this just
Blondie
annoys
dance.
me. Yeah, like, listen, I don't have anything against Blondie, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think the song was appropriate. It just sounds annoying.
Let's
And
be honest, babe. It's not
this is the part I think where like she remembers how difficult it was for her to be like, in Krypton when it was destroyed or whatever it is. And
very
this all
high
I don't
body.
even remember now what she says, but I remember that I was annoyed. I didn't even feel like watching this many times, honestly. It was just annoying. Like, I think I watched it once and I'm like, fuck this.
From director, they need to put director in quotes because we know who was really in charge of this movie.
Right. I mean, listen, also when you have like Kevin Feige and he's MCU and he brings a director, a lot of times it's very much Feige's vision, especially with those kind of lower level directors. This is a situation where James Gunn, for lack of a better term, did a Kevin Feige where it's very much his vision. These are people that are just working under him. He's the producer. They're fulfilling his vision. This is 100% a James Gunn project. I think that the reason why he's not like the official director here is because he still had to work on Superman and maybe, I think he spreads himself too thin regardless, but maybe this would have been spreading him a bit, even for him, too far. For him to like direct Superman, this and Man of Tomorrow and Peacemaker and all that shit that he was doing, it's a lot to do in a short amount of time. So I think he had no choice. I absolutely think that he weighed in on how he wanted this thing to be created. This
Yeah.
feels like a James Gunn movie, 100%. And by the way, who is that girl that I see her with in the trailer?
So if I'm remembering, the story from the Tom King Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story, she meets a young girl who's alone and tries to help her get back to her planet or something. I'm trying to remember.
Who knows? In any case, there you have this thing. Then you have like this was the one I'm talking about. I feel like it'll be additional girl boss to the regular girl boss, but we'll see what happens
Well,
with
there
that.
we do get the we see a little bit of the bottle city of Kandor, which I would assume that's what that is. That would be Brainiac, who would be stealing that city so he could shrink it down and store it in his little gallery that he has. So that's interesting. We get to see that little bit. I'm not sure whose funeral she's at here, but I suppose we'll figure it out.
She's kind of grumpy here as well, though.
Oh yeah.
didn't dine it today.
And like all the time, she's at a bar, she's drunk, she's whatever. I don't know. She doesn't come off as likable to me. I didn't mind her in those 4 episodes of House of the Dragon. I don't know. I don't love her as Supergirl. Like at least based.
Another spaceship design that looks like right out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Another scene right here that we've already watched in Guardians of the Galaxy.
And she's doing like the smirky. She's trying to be like the Star-Lord.
Yeah, bounty hunters surrounding her. Oh, you're in trouble.
Wow.
Right. Like I feel bad for you because you're in so much trouble. And then After it
You
seems like
guys.
that, she goes and she kicks everybody's ass. It's funny because I don't remember like Superman looking one time confident in his own movie and kicking anybody's ass or like being, having any kind of like backbone. He just his butt gets kicked every second. But of course, in the Supergirl movie,
Comic, she meets up with a girl named Ruthie or Ruth Yee, whatever, who is looking for help to hire a mercenary to help her kill Krim of the Yellow Hills, who is the man who murdered her father. The mercenary Ruthie hires steals her heirloom sword, but Kara, drunk and weakened, still beats him and returns the blade, drawing Ruthie's attention to her as a far better weapon. And so they go off together and try to kill Krim, who shoots Kara and poisons Crypto the super dog before escaping in Kara's ship. So later we see her petting and holding the dog and crying. And so I guess that's when he was poisoned. The word is that this is pretty heavily pretty closely based on the original the comic by Tom King, which a lot of people did not like. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I see. Let me see for a second. Oh, yeah, we're still. This again. This could have been taken out of Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks 100% that set.
Yep.
Like it doesn't just look a little like it. It looks 100% like it. Like
Yeah, the lighting, the colors, the tech, the
Small group
yeah.
too.
There's a reason why he said this one's going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what he wanted, and that's what he's doing, and that's all he knows how to do.
Yeah,
And
there's
you know what?
poisoned Crypto.
It doesn't fit with this thing. It doesn't fit with these characters. Superman and Supergirl, in my opinion, are not Guardians of the Galaxy. And I don't know. I understand that later in more recent years there was that Tom King or whatever his name is, and he made this shitty thing. This doesn't sound like what he needed to adapt. It really would have been nice if we would have seen these characters a little more optimistic and not this grumpy, shitty thing. Sorry. Sorry, Sean. Was that Lobo for a second?
Yes, you see Lobo for
It's the only moment where like she looks like she's half smiling and not like completely grumpy. But even here, like I don't buy her. Honestly, you can say whatever you want about Helen Slater's movie. I'm not even sure why he was so gung ho on making this stupid thing. Anyways, like why he wanted to do Supergirl so badly. Karate Werewolf says, even though Gunn didn't write or direct this, it has his fingerprints all over it. He is the producer of the movie, and he's a hands-on producer here. It's clear. There's no way that he's the producer here, and he just like happened to say, oh, here's the keys, do whatever you want, call me when it's ready. This looks like he was hands-on involved. This is very much a James Gunn production. He has set the tone of this thing, obviously, because it's so similar to his other stuff. I think it was Robot Head that said it. If he's not hands-on involved, he needs to sue this filmmaker for stealing all of his ideas. But I don't think it's a situation like that. I think that James Gunn, as the producer, has really weighed in. I would dare almost say that maybe it's like a Poltergeist Steven Spielberg situation. Do you remember that?
Yeah, where Steven Spielberg basically there was another director's name on it, but
I think Toby Hooper or Toby Hopper
yeah.
or something like that. I don't think that guy. Listen, I don't want to be mean. I'm sure that Toby Hooper guy did something, but at the time there was some kind of issue, and for many different reasons, it was a better look if Spielberg was the producer, whereas like he wasn't supposedly the director. For many different reasons, that's how it was better produced. He had a few deals. Also, sometimes the studio hires you, and if they know you're working on 5 movies in the same minute, they don't like that. You know what I mean? So there were different reasons why it happened, but at the end, people seem to think that Steven Spielberg sure was on set a lot during Poltergeist and weighed in on a lot of things in some mysterious way. I'm not saying that the other guy didn't do anything, and he went through great lengths to say, no, no, it's not true. The other guy is great. He did all that stuff. But for many years, people were under the impression that he certainly played a very key role as the producer. And I feel like this movie kind of reminds me of that. This is very much a hands-on production for James Gunn.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, wait, something happened to the Rumble stream?
Yeah, about looks like about 15 minutes ago it packed up and it just restarted from the beginning like it's dead. I just happened to look up and I saw my stream running over here on my other screen and Rumble wasn't showing anything. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." So I reset it and it started playing from the beginning, so I fast forwarded and I was like, "Wow, there's not a live button." Um so it looks like the live stream on Rumble just quit.
I don't know how to fix this, honestly.
No, I don't. I'm not sure there's a way for us to fix it, unfortunately.
Uh, don't really know what to do. You guys can let me do this.
It's dude. Elizabeth Quinn says, think they'd have to start a new stream and just assume Rumble is under attack. Anytime Rumble is acting up, I assume it's under attack.
Oh, that is a shame. I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, like I said, I just happened to look over at my other screen over here where I kind of keep the streams up in the background, and I realized it wasn't
Well,
playing live.
all I can
so-
say at this point, and I also put it in the chat, we are also we're on Rumble and we are on YouTube. Obviously,
Yes, also
Rumble
on
is our
YouTubes.
headquarters, but on this one occasion, if it's possible, try to click on the YouTube version. If you're looking for what that version is, let me see if I can somehow get a link for it. I would never do this unless it's just this situation that we're in now.
Yeah, the like I said, the Rumble stream just apparently just packed up, just decided we were done, and
I don't know how though. We didn't stop it. We didn't do anything.
No, and I don't think they stopped. I don't think they cut us off because we were playing Blondie.
No, we didn't play it. We actually didn't put the volume up, and we were very careful. We keep pausing that stupid thing. So, yeah, I don't know more what to say, but let's try to finish this teaser because we did finish it actually.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything we could have said. You know, on Rumble. Rumble isn't like that. Rumble, they're usually not like, they allow people to talk and say things, and I really don't think that it was anything.
No, I'm sure it was some technical issue on their end.
It's probably a technical issue.
Yeah.
All we can do is just do our best here.
Yeah, and I did not notice earlier we got a raid from Noise Pollution over on Rumble, which was awful kind of them. Yes.
Thank you very much, Noise Pollution. That's very nice of you. Again, it's all a mess now, and I couldn't properly thank them, but it was nice. Anyhow, sorry for all of this.
Yep. Nothing to
Don't
be
really
done
know what
at
to
this
do, but it
point.
is what it is. So yeah, this Supergirl trailer was in fact a disaster.
Yeah, there's the little extremely cynical take there at the end, which is the same BS that we get. I hear from cynical people all the time. They're like, "Well, you might be an optimist, but I'm a realist." And so she says, "Oh, what's Superman? Superman always thinks the best of people." And I always sees the best in people, and I see the truth. And it's like, oh, shut up, you pretentious hipster.
Right. There was also that. It's like, I feel bad for
Whatever.
you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Just shut up already. It's just so annoying, Professor. It just annoys me. honestly. But it is what it is, and not much we
Yeah.
can do.
I mean, I will say, as far as if we're just judging the trailer on nothing else, let's say we never saw Guardians of the Galaxy. We didn't see Superman 2025 and see what a miserable see you next Tuesday she is. All of that stuff. Let's just say this is fresh, it's new, it's its own movie, it's its own thing. The trailer generally is cut well. I think there's plenty of stuff that's in that little teaser to get you interested in what's going to be in the film. There's little bits of other characters that are in there. I would still wonder why I want to see a movie about this miserable woman, right? And I still I just don't know why I would turn up for this. I get why some people are saying, "Yeah, it's the best, it's amazing." But I when you take it in context with everything else, it looks like every minute from the start to end, it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks like a movie we've already seen. It stars a character that we've already been exposed to, just a few minutes worth, but already been exposed to in the Superman 2025 movie, who I have no interest in watching. I don't want to see any more of her. I don't want to see this character.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
want to see her either.
it's very cynical. It's very sort of cold. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of feminist stuff in there. Price, nobody has taken me up on my $20 bet that Lobo is going to be kicked in the balls, which tells
No,
me, that everyone knows that's going to happen. That's
seems that way.
that's what's going to happen in this movie. We're going to get Lobo. He's going to do something. Kara's going to kick him in the balls. And we get more emasculated male characters, whatever. So it's yeah. There is nothing about this that says go out and buy a ticket. I'm just not interested.
Yeah, it's not giving me that vibes either. I really don't have a good feeling about it, and I'm not impressed with what I saw. But I did tell you that I saw another movie.
Oh yes, Silent Night, Deadly Night, the 2025 remake.
Yes, so give me 1 second. I'll pull up a nice thing here. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Now let me see for a second. Now I have to tell everybody here, I'm usually like a lot of these kind of 80s franchises with horror and things like that. I've seen a lot of them. Most of the time, there's a big name franchise. I've seen something, maybe the first one or whatever it is, or more. Things like Friday the 13th, watched every movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, watched every movie. Halloween, I think I've seen every movie. Uh, there's franchises that I'm 100% like, at some point saw all of the different movies. When it comes to Night, Deadly Night, I don't think I've ever watched even one movie of this. It's just sort of a franchise that came and went, and never had time to watch anything or pay attention. But they released a remake of the 1984 movie today, and perhaps it's helpful to me that I've never really seen anything, so I went in just cold, like, watching it. And I watched this Silent Night, Deadly Night movie today. It started off, obviously, let's be clear here. This movie is not going to win any awards. There is nothing, super sophisticated or groundbreaking or anything revolutionary about this movie. This is a kind of seemingly relatively lower budget horror movie of sorts. And I had very little expectations. I actually expected the worst. Tomahawk says there were original movies. Yeah, I think that the first one came out in 1984. Lasher says that it was banned. Yeah, there were problems with that one. People thought it was very offensive at the time. Theaters didn't want to show it. There were a lot of issues, and this one is a remake of the 1984 one. Now, with a little research, and I'm going to sit down and actually try to watch, maybe even in the morning, watch the other one because now I'm curious what the other one looks like. So it'll be easier for me to compare. But
Yeah.
all I can do is judge whatever happened here. I'm sure they've changed certain aspects of that movie, and usually when they do that, it's not for the better. But I will say this, without knowing anything and with expectations that were pretty much zero, I'm not saying this is a great movie, but when I watched it, I didn't feel like I was completely suffering watching it. Meaning it met the threshold of like the bare minimum of me being able to understand what it is. It's sort of a low budget horror movie. It's preposterous or whatever it is, but I can't tell you that I fully hated it. Just to give some background on it, and it's really nothing, like I said, this isn't rocket science here. There's a guy that, due to some things that happened in his childhood, he ends up being like, you know, it's not, you don't fully understand everything, and I won't spoil every detail in case somebody wants to actually see it. But there's some things that happen when he's a kid, and he ends up, let's just say, he ends up an orphan. It happens within the next first 5 minutes, so I don't think that's a big deal of me saying it. So
Mhm.
basically, he's 5 years old or whatever it is, and he grows up. I don't know if it's in the foster system or whatever it is, but we see him as an older person. Sometimes we see flashbacks, and he has like a voice in his head that's like seemingly encouraging him to kill people. And for some reason, when he kills them, usually around Christmas time, and when he does the most killing, and he puts on a Santa suit and he does the killing. Are you with me, Professor?
Yep.
So that's the general idea. For some odd reason, the guy that's in his head, it's not like, his voice, it's somebody else in his head. I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm not saying that it was a one-to-one match, but the guy that was, in his head sounded to me a bit like Istophobos. So, basically, it's some guy that's, like, in his 20s or something, and then there's, like, Istophobos telling him that he should go kill people. I understand that it's not Istophobos himself. I don't know why I thought of Istophobos when I heard the guy in the head talking to him to go to kill people. Let's put it this way: it wasn't a one-to-one match to Istophobos' voice, but if I had a low-budget movie and that actor disappeared and I needed somebody to be the voice in his head to tell him to kill people, I may give Istophobos a call.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say. That made me chuckle for no apparent reason while I was watching the movie. Uh, in any case, he has to go and he wants to kill people. Meanwhile, he arrives in this town and he sort of seemingly, befriends people, but he also has this thing with the killing thing. Throughout the movie, you discover a little more about, within this madness, what the logic is of like him killing and doing whatever. I think that, considering the subject matter and what this movie is trying to do, I feel like it does it in a half decent way. I know it's strange because it seems like a movie that I would tear apart, and there's certainly silly things that happen. But at the same time, like I said, sometimes, and especially when you're not watching The Godfather here, okay? You know what this is, you know what you came for, and for whatever it is, I think it delivers a decent experience. I'm still gonna do like maybe a proper review for this channel. Maybe do a proper review, and I have to think of what score I would give it, but it wouldn't be a failing grade. I wouldn't fail it. I would give it not a failing grade. What grade I would give it, I don't know. But if for nothing else, I didn't feel like I was suffering. I don't know if that's like a ringing endorsement or what you want to call it, but I expected to suffer and I didn't suffer. So that's the one thing that I can say about this movie. I will say though that if I had to be nitpicky, there's two things that were a bit annoying. There's one thing where I really feel like in movies these days, a lot of times they love to shove in the mustache man situation. Now, I don't have an issue saying that mustache men are bad, and if there's a movie where there's a mustache man and somebody wants to, you know, dispose of the mustache man, this isn't, something that I generally have an issue with. The problem that I have is a lot of times when movies put in the Mustache Man these days, they seem to try to tie it with quote unquote current events, if you understand what I'm saying. Do you got what I'm saying, Professor?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, there's a part that, like, it's discovered that these people, that he didn't know, are having a party, and they're, I guess, Mustache Man people, and one of them speaks, and they say something like, talking about him making, almost like saying that they have to make America great again, but maybe in other words. And I'm like, okay, okay, I get it. It's always this feeling that, like, anybody that's maybe like not more right than far left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a bit more right than far left, you're automatically like part of whatever this is. Like, yeah, there was just something about it that I'm like, did they really need to add this additional step here? You could have even done this, but it could have been done in a much more nuanced or subtle way, or more clever way. Instead, there's just something that feels very cheap. Like they had to stick in that dig. It's not the end of the world. I've seen worse things in movies over the past several years, so this thing isn't the worst. But when I think of that, and when I think also that there was, like, I tend to think that law enforcement isn't necessarily, perhaps not presented in the most positive way. Between that and the other, make America great again, these are very minor quips. I mean, it's not like I watched the movie and you're going to notice this every second. It's just, when I thought about it afterwards, there were at least two moments in the movie that kind of, like, for a second I thought about it. Uh, it's
Mm-hmm.
sad because probably 10 years ago I wouldn't have even noticed, but now it's just like everything that happens I notice. Already when I see the thing, I know, oh, they're gonna make it seem like this, oh, they're gonna do this, or they're gonna tie it to that. So there was definitely a little bit of that, but it was very minor. And I still think that overall, like, the movie was fine. There was also a moment at the end that I'll stop short of saying like girl boss, but I feel like, I haven't watched the original, but I suspect that if I watch it, the female character in the movie, I don't know if things end up the same with her as what we see here in this movie. And if I had to gamble, if I was a betting man, I would say that in this case, it probably elevated her more to a semi girl boss, not full girl boss. But do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I have my suspicions. Still, in any case, let me say, hey Price, did you see the Chustine Basin interview on your competition channel? First interview. Okay, first of all, I'm not in competition with them. Those guys are good guys. I have nothing bad to say about them. And yeah, there are a lot of people that do interviews and do streams and stuff like that. I saw that. I don't think it's her first interview. I think they've interviewed her before, so I don't really know, you know. I don't even think it's their first interview with her. But in any case, that was my answer to that.
Who
And
was I didn't see this. Who I'll have to go check it out. Who
it
was
was Chris
interviewing?
Gore, I think,
Oh, on
that
Thumb Thread.
interviewed,
Yeah, yeah.
just
He's talked to her before, because I think
that's what
there
I'm
was
saying. It's
on
not even like the first time they've talked to her. Yeah, they talked to her from
last
time to time.
year they did a really long interview,
Right. So,
because
I guess
I
they did.
was so apt. That happened to be when I was out of classes and stuff like that, and I sat and watched the whole thing. I thought it was fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have any issue, and I never, I'm not upset that other people have channels and do streams.
No, no, I love Chris
Competition.
Gore.
You know,
Yeah,
there's really, I think that in YouTube and in the YouTubing and whatever it is, or whatever it is that we do, I think that, we're all sitting around, oh, competition, competition. I
yeah,
think you just do whatever you do, and you hope people will connect and enjoy your streams, and
yeah,
you try to provide them with the best stream that you could provide them. I don't really look at other streams and think, oh, how dare they, like, why do they, how dare they, like, invite Justine Bateman or whatever it is.
yeah.
uh
No, I love Chris Gore, and I love
They pretty much said the
the
same
Film
things that
Thread
you both said.
channel. Yeah,
Let's put it this way. I've at least, and I can say this about the professor as well. We've been in one way, shape, or form in these circles for probably the past 7 or 8 years. Whether it's online on Twitter, in groups, friends, acquaintances, we're all in the same circles. So Chris Gore, personally, there's a lot of people that I'm acquainted with, and I have like good relationships with. I don't know Chris Gore very well. I've run into him a few times on Twitter, where maybe we were answering each other or responding to something. I've never had a bad interaction with him, and I don't have a bad word to say about him. I personally, in his case, I'm not like I can't say that I'm his best buddy or something, but I don't dislike him. He didn't do anything bad to me. Same
Nope.
with Alan Ing. There was
Yeah, I like
his
Alan a lot.
I like Alan. He seems like a good guy. Have nothing bad to say about those guys. Really, just
Yeah. I've interacted with Alan a number of times on X, on Twitter. Yeah, over the
always seem like
Yeah.
good guys to me. Don't have
Sure,
anything
no
bad to
problem.
say about them. And yeah, there's a lot of situations that we're all sort of acquainted with people and other people and whatever. So the fact that you're saying, oh, they say a lot of things that are similar to you, well, that we've all been in these same circles for years, and a lot of us believe in very similar things. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that everybody in the world believes what we believe, but if you say that you watched one of their streams and they said a lot of stuff that made sense or rings true or kind of reminds you of things maybe that you've heard here, that doesn't seem impossible either. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we're all interested in seeing pop culture go back to entertaining people and not just lecturing them and doing all this crap. So
Yeah.
you know, I like I said, don't have any negative thoughts about them. Don't
Nope.
consider
And
them
I
like
don't
evil
and
competitors or whatever.
Chris and Alan aren't like lifting stuff off of our channel and posting it as their
Right,
own either.
right,
That's
yeah.
not that kind of thing isn't happening. No, you know what? If I'm in the same if I am having the same thoughts and the same conversations as Alan and Chris, I think that puts me in good company. So
I think so too. I think so too.
they're good guys. They're smart guys too. Not that I always agree with them. Chris has had some opinions on some stuff where I've been baffled as to why.
Right,
Like,
right.
how could you think that was a good movie, dude? Like, I don't get what you're saying at all.
Burnout
But
Blues one says I'm new. I'll tell you this.
yeah, no,
Chris
it's fine.
Gore. I'll say this about Chris Gore. Even Alan. Sometimes I feel like they're more forgiving when it comes to
They
reviewing
really
movies.
can be. Yeah.
In many occasions, they're more forgiving than I am. Like there have been many cases that I've been much more like aggressively critical about something, whereas they kind of let it slide. But it's fine. I don't hold that against them either. I don't get upset at people for liking a movie, even if I don't like it. Sometimes that can happen. There's a movie I watched it, I didn't like it, and somebody else will say, "Hey, I love that movie." It happened to me. Sometimes it happens with who it happens with Vex Electronica.
Oh,
I
Vex. Yeah.
remember in the past year a few times there was a movie I liked, she didn't like it. The movie she liked, I didn't like at all. I do a review. She's like, "How could you not like it? How can you not like it?" I don't like it. Sometimes that happens. So we can't all like the same things. Sometimes they'll like a movie, we won't like it. Sometimes we'll all like it or not like it. You never really know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
good people doing a lot of good streams. That's what. Let's leave it at that. And when it comes to Silent Night, Deadly Night, I feel like towards the end of the movie, there was something that I'm going to watch the original just so I have context. I would be surprised if the original ends the same way. If it is, then I'll accept it. But I suspect that they kind of updated it. I don't know if to go as far as saying for a modern audience, but I wasn't 100% sure about something towards the end. And like I said, those few moments that I felt that they were kind of taking a little dig, especially in the Mustache Man convention or whatever that was, that seemed like a bit over the top to me. But it is what it is. I mean, honestly, back in the day, if you saw Mustache Man in a movie, like, they were the bad guys and everybody was cool with it. It's just that these days, instead of doing that, they're always trying to add a little dig to, like, tie it into something current that's happening, and that I don't like.
Mm.
Here, E. Clay Thomason is saying Vex is awesome, but I don't always agree with her either.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you do? Sometimes people don't agree on everything. There were situations where people would come to, my videos, and this has happened to me before, where let's say they write to me, "Do you know that Critical Drinker said that he liked this movie, but you said you didn't like it?" And I'm like, "Okay, so what?" He first of all, he's allowed to like it, and at the same time, I'm allowed not to like it. And the fact that if he liked it more than I liked it, there's nothing wrong with him, or if I didn't like it, there's nothing wrong with me. At the end, like, I think that what's interesting is that everybody gives their take. You don't want everybody to have the exact same take. You want everybody to talk about what it is that they think about something, give their opinion, and you can decide for yourself if you think that opinion is good or not, or you could watch the movie and decide how you feel about it. But there's never going to be a situation that everybody always says everything that you believe or you want to hear or whatever it is. I also don't think that's the way it should be. I think people should just say whatever their opinion is. I am rather critical and I get annoyed at stuff, and maybe it's too much. I don't know. But that's the way I am. Anyhow, so this Silent Night, Deadly Night was not a terrible thing.
Gotcha. Yeah,
That's all.
you should check out the original, and while you're at it, check out the sequel to it as well. The sequel is well known. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. It's well known as being an absolute schlock fest. It is not good in any way except that it is so bad that it's good.
I see.
It is hilariously terrible, the second one. So yeah, and has some of the worst line delivery, including the famous "It's garbage day" line. So
Well,
yeah,
I have to.
I've seen that one. It is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's quite terrible, but it's enjoyably terrible, which is it's something, right?
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was one thing today that maybe you could talk a little bit about. There was the gaming awards.
Oh yeah, we did get that today. There were a number of announcements too. Let me pull that up. Let's see if I can pull this up here. That's not it. Oh, hey, we got some. While I'm pulling this up, Price, we got some super chats. Why don't you hit those super chats while I get us a page here? Oh, he had to step away. Okay, let me pull this up. Oh, I hope I can share it while we're while we're talking. Let's see here. Game Awards. I hope it switches over. It didn't. Okay. Well, the Game Awards. All right, we'll have to wait until Price gets back to actually see what I'm talking about here. But yeah, not a great year for gaming. Not a great year. A lot of mediocre, offerings out there. Especially when it comes to, say, more AAA titles, and when it comes to indie, a little bit better. But for the most part, I really don't feel like it's been a great year for games. Right now, there were quite a few categories, obviously, at the Game Awards. Some of them were rather dull categories, like best esports teams and esports athletes. I don't know that anyone in the audience follows esports. I don't. I don't follow regular sports either, but esports, not something I really care too much about. But we did get a lot of the typical awards that are out there each year, things like audio design, best performances, so on and so forth. Um, it was good to see that some of the nominees, that they didn't end up voting for the more controversial nominees. That was a good thing to see there. We got for best performance, Erika Ishii, who was the lead character in Ghost of Yote, who was saying all kinds of very, very controversial things, talking about the Transformers and the LGBTQI plus, all of that stuff. None of that seemed to matter. There were also three different two actors and an actress from Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which was I would say maybe the only win this year I mean, I wouldn't even call it a AAA title, just higher end, not particularly an indie title, maybe a AA title or something. But Claire Obscure, the winner was Jennifer English, who was a character in that title. The best narrative went to Claire Obscure. That was also competing with Ghost of Yotei. It was oh gosh, sorry. I was also competing with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Silent Hill, and Death Stranding 2. So multiple sequels, one original game. Claire Obscure was the winner there as well. Best game direction also went to Claire Obscure. That was also competing with a lot of the same games in those categories. I feel like there just weren't that many nominees this year because there were only a handful of games that were worth playing. Sal the Hamster says it was only bad for AAA. There's been a lot of good games in the lower tiers. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. Sal, was basically that when it comes to indie, there's been a lot of movement there. There's been a lot of indie games that have done really well this year, but AAA was an absolute disaster this year. There's hardly anything at all that was worth playing, and even the ones that were not big hits. So so Bryce, we were just talking about some of the different categories here. There's a few, that we haven't got to. Best debut indie. Again, the indies were doing really well this year. They're counting Claire Obscure as indie. It doesn't feel as much indie as a lot of other games to me. It feels more like AA. It was there's a lot of resources that went into this, but I suppose if they're going to count that as AA, that's fine. This is definitely one that's been on my list. I need to get around to playing. I simply haven't had the time for it. Maybe have some time over the winter break. Action adventure winner was Silk Song, definitely deserved. Stellar game, another indie, and one that came from a studio that has been very determined to buck the trends out there in video game land, not sending their prices sky high, not trying to chase off the audience with lots of ideology and stuff being inserted into their games. This was definitely one that many people were waiting on this year, and it was very, very popular. And then, of course, Game of the Year, we had, again, Claire Obscure. So that was the one that ended up winning over Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm pretty sure Kingdom Come Deliverance got completely shut out, which I'm fine with. I didn't, not something I cared for, not something I would have played anyway. We talked about direction, narrative, art direction. Again, Claire Obscure, just cleaning up. Definitely something worth playing. We got another one here. Best score of music went to Lorian Testard, who did Claire Obscure. Battlefield 6 won for audio design. Okay. As I said, best performance to one of the actresses from Claire Obscure instead of, thankfully, not Erika Ishii. Yeah, I think that game also had a total shutout, which is fine. Doom: The Dark Ages, innovation and accessibility. I'm not sure what they did to make their game more accessible price, but okay.
I don't know either. Yeah.
Games for Impact, don't care. That means they were. It's the DEI. What was the DEI winner there? Oops. Oh, you all categories. Games for Impact, the game that was the most DEI of the DEI games, South of Midnight. This game was absolutely obliterated by Sweet Baby Inc. This
I believe
game
that.
was originally had a completely different protagonist, a different story. They inserted nonstop, constant garbage into this title, and now like basically nobody's played it. I mean, I think more people played what was that? Dustborn. I think more people played Dustborn just out of curiosity than bothered to play South of Midnight. Just a joke. Best ongoing, No Man's Sky. I would say that's true. They've consistently been delivering really great updates, and that game's been out for like a decade now, and they're still updating this game. And doing some really meaningful stuff to it too. Baldur's Gate 3 was for community support. That's a real great thing there. Another win for Clair Obscur, best independent game, best debut indie game. Although it's argued that maybe this isn't a debut indie. There's a lot of people here who are industry veterans, but that's okay.
So it's a phony. It's not real indie.
Well, no. I mean, it's indie. It's a pretty good sized studio for being an indie. A lot of times when you think about indies, right, you think about a game that was made by like 2 people, right? It's a bigger studio than that, but it's not a big AAA studio.
By the
VR,
way, somebody's
AR.
asking, did you ever see a Shaw Brothers movie? I don't. What does that even mean? I don't.
Oh,
What show?
Shaw Brothers. They are Hong Kong films.
Give me one example of anything, just anything.
Films by the Shaw Brothers. Oh gosh, I mean they're all almost all like martial arts films. There's so many of them. I'm gonna have trouble. There's one that's like almost like a tokusatsu film, and I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. So they've made tons and tons of films. I'm trying to remember if there's one in particular that you might pick up on, because the Shaw Brothers have been around since the 50s. It was in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s when they blew up, and they started making just dozens and dozens of the martial arts films every year. Gosh.
I see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a particular title you might recognize, but they're all pretty low tier, films. But they did make some pretty classic action Hong Kong style action films back in the day.
I think Sal the Hamster has a comment for you. The people who made Expedition 33 were former Ubisoft developers
Yeah,
who got pushed out.
yeah. So yeah, it's not. I mean, they're not like a new team that this is their first game they've ever built, right? But it's the first time they build a game together. Yeah, but yeah, I can't think of anything specific from Shaw Brothers that you might remember, but I mean, they made hundreds of movies. Shaw Brothers is a studio. They're not like directors. It's not like the guys that made The Matrix or something like that. Okay, so oh no, we're getting into the weird categories here. VR, action game, Hades 2. I don't know how many of these you've even heard of, Bryce.
Not many.
Yep. Clair Obscur again. Yeah, Clair Obscur really cleaned up this year. So yeah, I think that's about it. There were a number of announcements too that came out. New trailers. some new games that were announced here. We can I'll swap over. Let's see if there's anything here. I saw a few of these. So fans got their first look at The Witcher 4. A lot of people not sure about that one. The premiere announcement of the now released Shadow Labyrinth and the gratuitous use of puppetry. Yeah, someone said the Muppets were there. I did not watch it live. Surprise new looks at Saros and Exodus. And Exodus is one that I am very interested in. A lot of developers from EA Studios and a few other places, basically trying to make. It looks like they're trying to make something new in the vein of dadgummit.
By the way, I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw this, but apparently Smash JT, I don't know how he got an invitation to the gaming awards. I don't know if it's easy or difficult to do that, but then he went there, and there were people online like complaining, "How dare they invite him?" or things like that. So there's something else going on, just so you know.
Yeah, I was thinking Exodus is in the style of, or it appears to be in the style of the Mass Effect games, which
I see.
that would be really solid sci-fi storyline and stuff like that with a great action game. So that'd be pretty cool.
But did you know the thing with Smash JT? Because I was just
I had seen that. I had seen that he got an invite. I hadn't gotten to see anything about any drama about him attending.
No, now there's people, I guess, having meltdowns. This is why we were like, now in the past hour, I was looking at something and suddenly it popped up in my feed. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so I guess people are upset at him. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of glancing through here. Audio.
So what's the big winner? What's the surprises? Because I guess they already had the event today. We
Yeah, it happened earlier this evening. Yeah.
So are there any? Is there any game that's a surprise that it won or not a surprise or?
No, not really. I mean, it ended up with, as I said, Claire Obscure winning just about everything.
Do you
Which
think
is
it's
fine.
a sham?
No, it's fine. I've heard nonstop reports of it being an absolutely fantastic game. So it's something that I have not had the time to play myself. I get very little time to play games these days, but definitely something that I want to give a shot when I get a chance. So looking at some of these reveals and trailers that got played, Stupid Never Dies. I don't know what that is. This is one that made some big news. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. This is an announcement at the show with world premiere of a new title, a brand new single-player action RPG set in the Old Republic era of Star Wars, developed by Argonaut Studios in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games. I am told that Argonaut Studios has veterans, including the director from Knights of the Old Republic, so that this may actually be
good,
a genuine sequel to Knights of the Old Republic and be a really solid, good game. We can look at the trailer here for a moment. You getting audio?
Let's do it.
You got audio?
I don't hear audio. No. Now I do.
Okay.
Hey, Six. I feel like I don't have enough context to tell you if this will be good or not. I would have to
Yeah.
see more.
A lot of people are speculating that the character that we're seeing here, the main female character who appears to have dark brown hair, could be the character of Bastilla Shan, who was one of the characters in the Old Republic games before. So that this would in fact be a direct sequel to Knights of the Old Republic. So
Now, I
that
can't say anything. I can't say anything about this game. It's not really, my place to say. But what I will say is this: I want to see a Star Wars where there's a dude doing something. Until like I see a Star Wars,
well
like a dude
they have a
walks out.
series of the Fallen Order series of games. Been central male lead male character.
When is that game from?
There's two of them right now, and they're working on a third one. So there was Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, and then there's a third one that they're working on right now.
Were those any
Um,
good?
They were fantastic.
What
yeah.
years did they come out?
The first one came out in 2019. Here, I can look it up.
Oh, interesting. I guess I didn't play those, so unfortunately I don't play a lot. But
Yeah, 2019 was when Fallen Order came out, and then the Jedi. Man, I'm having some internet problems tonight, man. Jedi Survivor. That one came out in 23. So we're probably got a couple of years, or maybe another year before the next one's ready. Maybe late 26 or early 27. But supposedly this team at EA, even though EA has had some buyouts and stuff like that, this team is still solid. They're still working on building the game at Respawn. So not that Respawn has had the best the best record of stuff, but so far Fallen Order and Survivor were both fantastic games. Really well done. Even in the midst of all of the terrible Star Wars that we've had recently.
interesting.
Yeah, those are real solid games.
At least when it comes to the, cinematic output or TV or whatever
Yeah.
it is, I don't remember the last time. You know what? It's not even just Star Wars. It barely happens that you see a movie that a man walks out and is like confident and doing stuff, and it's so annoying that they keep doing that. They can't even do one that happens. There are bitter and annoying dickheads that just won't do the right thing. It's fine to do movies that are like one time this person is like that, time this, but the way they've went out of their way to make like men stupid is just it's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Caleb Levine was asking if you had seen the new Terminator 2 game.
I can't say that I have. Unfortunately, I don't really play a lot and do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The last game I played was Wukong.
Yeah. There's a new Terminator 2 game coming out. It's called Terminator 2 No Fate, or Terminator 2D No Fate. And it looks like it looks like a game from like the Super Nintendo era.
What are the graphics like? Does it look like Super Nintendo, the graphics too, or just the...
Here, I'll show you a trailer.
The past and future collide in Terminator 2D No Fate, a 2D side-scrolling arcade action game that brings explosive battles, relentless machines, and humanity's last hope together in a fight for survival. Take control of Sarah Connor, her son John, and their protector, the Terminator, as you fight through 15 adrenaline-pumping levels in story mode. Battle through iconic locations from the movie, such as the Steel Mill, Corral Bar, and Pescadero State Hospital, while playing through some of the best action set pieces ever brought to the screen.
So yeah, it's styled after like a Super
This
Nintendo
actually looks
or
fun. Yeah, I
arcade.
would
Yeah,
I'd
it
probably
does.
enjoy it.
So did you see the where's the bit in the bar?
Where does one get this game? How do you get it?
I believe it's gonna be released on Steam. But you like, can you see the? It's Arnold's Terminator, but he's nude.
When he's new, this is great. I love it. I love this.
Yes. Yeah. Caleb Levine thought you might like that one. Yeah.
Caleb
See, Rod
Levine was
Neeson
right.
said Casey Hudson's the director of Star Wars, Fate of the Old Republic. He worked on Star Wars Knights of the Republic and Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, there's some people in the studio, I believe, but there's also the director, Casey Hudson, who was part of developing the previous games. So yes, that's good news. That's good news. We've got some people who actually care about, actually care about making a really solid sequel to those games, which to this day still, I mean, there's been some fantastic Star Wars games over the years. Knights of the Old Republic still an absolute masterpiece. It's a masterpiece outside of being part of Star Wars, but all of the lore and everything that they put into it, absolutely incredible. Yeah. But yes, the Terminator 2D No Fate what is fascinating. Yeah, the way they're doing the 2D graphics and everything to make it look like an old
I do like what I see
console.
here.
That's
This looks
great.
cool.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Some other things. Divinity was shown up. I don't really care about that one. South of Midnight wins games for Impact. No one cares. For Loop. Next from Bad Robot Games. Nope. Skipping. Coven of the Chicken Foot. Puzzle title where you play as a small chicken-legged granny. Okay, sure. On Toast. This is one I heard some people talking about. Creators of Soma at Fractional Games, a new sci-fi title. What begins the search for answers quickly spirals into something far stranger as players delve deeper. You must confront disturbing revelations about the nature and reality of your place in it. Okay. I don't know. Could be interesting. Soma was a pretty solid title. It wasn't something I spent a lot of time with, but I know there were a lot of people who enjoyed that one. Zenless Zone, Resident Evil Requiem. Don't care about Resident Evil games. Survival horror, not my cup of tea. Exodus. See, this is one I'm curious because even though it's coming from Wizards of the Coast, it's specifically it's coming from Archetype Entertainment. I've actually been following this one for a little while, but it looks like they've got a new trailer. I'm interested to see what they've got to show off.
I don't hear any audio. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but
Oh, you're not getting any audio from this one?
no.
Hold on a sec. I will share the tab again. Sometimes when you switch tabs, the audio doesn't go with it. So.
Yeah. You sometimes have to stop and share again.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Who are you? I'm a friend. Celestials are the enemy of humanity. A relentless threat to our very survival. I can't do this anymore. Salvaging scraps just to get by.
Child of Orion, fulfill the purpose for which you were crafted, and seize your destiny.
Our world is dying. You
Yeah,
are the
looking
only
really
one
good.
who can wield celestial tech and find a cure.
Oh, looks cool.
Well, that's terrifying. But with the right ship and the right crew, you could save all of us.
I was on an alien world. Felt like I was finally doing what I was made for.
Thank you, June.
We are the defenders of Leiden's future. And we will fight to protect it.
The fight for survival has consequences. How far are you willing to venture? How much are you willing to sacrifice to save your world?
Damn, kid. No pressure there.
It looked all right to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, looking pretty good. Like I said, it's very much built in the style, designed in the style of the Mass Effect series, which I absolutely loved. Even though the ending was, some people didn't like it so much, but I thought it was fine. I think this looks really good. Someone who Karate Werewolf said, "Don't trust Wizards of the Coast." Yeah, that's the only thing keeping me from getting really excited about this game. I'm still very interested in it, but Wizards of the Coast, man, they have done so much crap over the last couple of years to destroy so many different IPs. I'm not sure that I can.
Six had a question for you.
Yeah.
Any announcements about the Halloween game coming out next year?
I didn't see anything about that one. But I've heard about it, but I didn't see anything new today.
Also, Birdhouse Blues keeps mentioning, yeah, Nolan Bushnell. He's the guy that created Atari. I don't know what the context is, but I see you've mentioned it a few times. All I can remember in recent years is that there was some convention and that they were going to give him an award for being like, a game changer when it came to gaming consoles. They
Mhm.
wanted to give him a special like Pioneer Award, some gaming convention. And then some lady said that years ago she worked with him and used to sit in a jacuzzi and talk to people, or I don't know what the fuck that lady wanted. And then they announced that they would no longer give him the award because some lady said that in the 70s he used to sit in jacuzzis and have meetings with people in jacuzzis. It's like it's the 70s.
Yeah.
He was like drinking
Yeah.
and whatever. This is just such bullshit. You even had people at that time, women came out that said, "Listen, we're like as far left as you can imagine. We've worked with this guy and during those years everybody would be sitting in jacuzzis and talking, people would be partying. It's like a different vibe of what you understand now, and to try to suggest that he did anything inappropriate is bullshit. And he had like multiple women come forward to say that actually in his defense, not that it mattered, they wouldn't give him the award, and they said we have to give it to a woman now, and they removed him from the event. And it's like, until this day, like, I can't believe it. I don't know, that's just a shitty thing.
Yeah.
What have you got to do? You pretty much invented. I understand that there were gaming consoles before, but none of them were successful like Atari.
Yeah.
Say
Well,
you could say
and
whatever you want. There are a few
yeah.
like ones that they had that like sold 5 units, but when it comes to really like changing the face of what gaming could be, the Atari 2600 is the game changer. And I if you're at a gaming convention, you're supposed to give an award to a guy who's a pioneer of gaming consoles, and you end up not giving it to him so you could just give it to some random woman. That sounds like shit to me, Professor.
Yeah. And there's another name that was not mentioned there. Of course, yes, they were early on, especially arcade games, with the specifically Pong game, Bushnell and Dabney. There was also Ralph Baer, who was a huge pioneer in video games. He helped invent the first home video game console.
Right, and
Actually,
I
he
think
did design the first home video game
right.
consoles.
I understand that if we were like competing and giving like the first, he would have to get it, but I still will argue that Bushnell took it to another level.
Yeah. No, there was no question. I mean, the Odyssey, which was the system that Bear invented for Magnavox, did not go very far. It was never particularly popular. But
You had to
it
paste, didn't
was
you have to paste like things on your screen? You have to like
no,
paste
no.
it.
That was the Vectrix.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean, though.
yeah, yeah. No, the
But that one
Vectrex was
also
cool. The
didn't do what
Vectrex
it
was
needs.
very very unique. They're actually doing a they're doing a what do you call it? Like a new like revival console thing of the Vectrex. It looks really slick. I'm kind of interested to get one, but I'm not sure if I want to bother because it's kind of chunky and big. Because the Vectre, that was the thing with the Vectrex, was that it included the monitor because it was a system. It didn't use a typical monitor because it had everything was vector based. It was all just lines and squares and triangles and stuff being vector rendered on the screen.
Six is asking, did they give it to a random woman or did she actually have some accomplishments? Let me put it this way. I'm sure that whoever they ended up giving the award to may have done something, but I highly doubt that it was something as pioneerish as the Atari 2600. There just isn't, unless they were going to give Bear whatever you were saying, like they were going to give him the award, and then they say, well, we can't give it to Bushnell because we have to give it to Bear. Unless it was a situation like that, there's really not a lot of cases that you could say, okay, step aside, sir, we're bringing in this lady now. That just seems really weird to me. But yeah, maybe she's revolutionary. I don't know. You're welcome to look into it and tell me what happened.
Curious now, trying to look up and see if I can find anything. There's a new Control game. I'm excited for that. The first Control game was really solid, very very fun title, and very interesting. It has to do with all these mysterious objects that you find all around the world. That there's this mysterious group that collects all these objects that have weird mysterious powers and stuff. And so the facility where they store all of this stuff in their shadowy organization gets broken into, and some of the objects get loose. And it's really kind of a fascinating idea. It's basically like all the conspiracy theories you've ever had, and all the stuff that you've ever thought of, that would be considered to be supernatural or whatever. All that's real. It all actually happened. There's this shadowy group that like collects all of these things and hushes up all the incidents that that have happened. And it's a group called Control, and they have all this stuff. But they're releasing a new Control title finally. It's been a little while, but it sounds like this time around it's going to have a different protagonist, which is going to be interesting.
Something is coming.
Trippy.
An intrusive pattern. Of staggering power. Reshaping reality as we know it. Everything we tried to keep inside eventually worms its way out. must have had good reasons. But we were not prepared. For what would follow.
Interesting music choice. There you go, Price. There's a male character.
Pace yourself.
We'll kick him in the balls in a second.
Well, that so the lead character in the first game was a woman, and so this is her brother is the lead character in the second game. Looks like so. Yeah, that one could be interesting. A new trailer for the Street Fighter live action Street Fighter film. Do you want to check that out?
Sure.
If you don't punch, I'm gonna have to hit you. Tactics, I never lose in this fight. You don't shut your mouth, I'ma shut it for you. Fight, you win.
Okay, so I absolutely love Street Fighter. One of my favorite series ever. I've been playing
it's a classic.
Street Fighter games for forever. Tons of fun. This movie looks absolutely ridiculous. I think it's going to be a huge bomb. It might be one of those sort of like cult classic films, right?
So bad it's good, yeah.
But yeah, it looks dreadful. That trailer looks terrible. Some of the screenshots from this look terrible. It looks so like obviously they're trying really hard to be more faithful to like the look of the characters and everything from the games. I feel like this is going to be terrible.
Maybe so
I
bad
could be
it's
wrong.
good.
I am willing to be wrong on this one, okay? If it's good, if it's fun, I'm gonna enjoy it. I really will. But I'm just I don't know. I don't have any faith that this is going to be good. It sounds like it just and looks like it is going to be.
No, it didn't look good. It
just
didn't look good. I agree.
Really, really goofy.
Maybe, like I said, maybe it'll be like it's so bad it's good.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
maybe it's goofy and ridiculous and it's just fun, right? I would love movies like that. I would love to get back to having movies like that, Bryce. Just to be able to go watch something that's really bizarre and silly and schlocky. That's fine. And if it leans into it and it has some fun with it, great. We'll have some fun with that. I'm not gonna watch this Legacy of the Dark Knight trailer, though. I am kind of looking forward to that.
I just wanted to quickly answer Six's question. So this is what came out at the time. It's an article from that time. Glixel reports that developers and academics have rallied under the hashtag Not Nolan, declaring that such an award would be tone deaf in the wake of the massive Me Too movement sweeping every industry. Some are calling for the award to be given to one of the many women making their mark on the industry, their accomplishments often unrecognized. And then, again, the stupid hot tub thing. I will say this. This was at the height of Me Too, and I'm sorry, and especially that in this case, like, several women actually stepped forward to speak on his behalf. I think that this is a crock of shit. If you're not gonna give this guy an award for, like, for the Atari 2600, you may as well just, like, shut down this stupid thing you're doing. I was doing additional research. I think that they wanted to give it to a woman, but at the end, what they did was they said that they're just going to overall give it to, like, underrepresented people or people. It's like an overall dedication to the award to unheard voices or some random shit like that. So basically, it was a weird cop out. They didn't give him the award, but then they said, like, we're just going to, like, dedicate this to the ladies or whatever it is. This is all bullshit, in my opinion. I'm gonna say something else. It's also like you can't pop up in like 2019 or whatever it is and start saying, "What did you do in 1975?" It's like, come on, unless he committed like a real crime. I think that going back like 50 years to a time and place that had completely different norms and times and everything in a very specific setting that maybe wouldn't exist today, but popping up like 40, 50 years later to start complaining about some guy who, in my opinion, didn't really do anything. And also, like, part of it's like, oh, he spoke negatively about a female in a Playboy article. Who gives a shit? I keep in mind, like, a Playboy article in the 70s. I'm gonna judge a guy that he did an article in the 70s in Playboy and that he said something that was like, quote unquote, not nice to women. I personally don't give a shit about that, Professor.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's just me personally. I know Six is probably annoyed. She thinks I'm a jerk or whatever it
I
is.
will say I did look it up real quick, but I'm so what I found was that they did not give it to a woman. It was the Pioneer Award. But they ended up just rescinding the award and then saying that this year's award goes to all the unrecognized developers everywhere or some BS
Some
like that.
shit. Sounds like a
Yeah.
bunch of shit to me, Professor.
But
That's what I
yeah,
think.
I understand. Here we got another Star Wars game, Price. I'm sure you're excited about Galactic Racer.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
Do
I
I
don't
want
know.
to?
I don't even know what it is either. A Star Wars kart game. Oh,
The way it was before the Empire shut it down. Massive engines.
now this is pod racing.
Lightning fast. Lives on the line. The pilots were incredible. Best of the best.
So they're just remaking Star Wars Pod Racer, I guess.
United by one beautiful dream. The galaxy needs racing.
What is this, like pod racing? What are we looking at?
Or something. Yeah, they're like there's different types of racing because some of these just look like speeders instead
It
of
looks like the Phantom Menace. Like
pods. But yeah, I don't care to watch
whatever.
I will say that. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I will say this: the Star Wars Pod Racer video game might have been the best thing to come out of Phantom Menace because it was actually a really enjoyable racing game. It was a lot of fun. I spent many hours playing that competitively with friends. Sitting around the TV playing that pod racer game. But yeah, I don't know. What were you gonna say, Bryce?
No, I'm saying that, I was gonna say, and this is something that we were talking about earlier with Robot Head, is that I'm just so tired. Like, I wanna be excited about Star Wars, but there's so little. It just doesn't generate that spark in me anymore, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's a movie, it's a game, or whatever, I just kind of look at it and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." Uh,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
that's like
sorry that that it brought me to this situation. I'm really, really sorry. I never thought that that's the position that I would be in, but what was something that I grew up with that for so many years was such a kind of important to me, and I liked it so much. They really ruined it. It's hard to bounce back from that. Just my personal opinion, of course.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's kind of the same for just about well, for a lot of entertainment, video games, movies, like we've gotten to a point where we get just so much trash, so much garbage in the theaters, on television, on streaming, video games, like all of it. Like there's just so much trash that you just feel like you can't get excited about anything because it's the chances are it's going to be garbage.
Well,
So
one thing that's interesting, and I recently brought this up. I think I actually I brought this up on that stream that I was on, and I think that Jeremy told me that Mega Man is not like doing stuff now, but now I see that Smash JT said that they're unveiling some kind of Mega Man for 2027.
yeah,
This
there's a
is
very very brief. Well, I've actually got a better video of that, Bryce. If you want me to show it real
Oh,
quick.
if you have a better video, let's watch
Yeah,
yours.
I've got the direct video of that.
Okay, let's look at yours then.
Right. I skipped ahead to because most of it's just like going down a
You're
hallway.
opening the door, yeah.
Yeah. So here.
The audio. Nice. I used to play Mega Man.
Oh, I love Mega Man.
Yeah, fuck
some,
yeah.
I
I totally
was
play
playing
this
some
game.
just the other day, actually.
I would totally play this game. This is great. I'm on board. I'll play it immediately.
The cartoony look is the way to go with Mega Man.
I agree. And it's funny because I was telling, I was mentioning to Jeremy this could be great for a movie, and Jeremy was like making it seem like maybe they haven't done enough in recent years for it to be a strong franchise. But if this game were to go well, I think they could totally make a Mega Man movie.
Yeah, they had a long running cartoon series for
That's
Mega Man
true.
that was
But
really solid. Yeah.
anyhow, back to Smash JT. So the reason why I actually pulled this up, not even for this, I wanted to show that there was something about. I guess there's people that were on Blue Sky complaining why he got invites. Is that his son?
No idea.
I don't want to get in trouble, but
I mean,
in
I
any
would guess
case,
probably that's his.
that's what it seems like. I can't think of anything else it would be, but in any case, apparently, I guess people are upset on Blue Sky.
Well,
And
I think that's pretty much all they do on Blue Sky. They just get upset about stuff.
yeah, that's what they get upset about. I want to see where I saw who shared some of those things. I think it was Grums. Uh, Here, Grums said they are pretty mad. Smash JT was invited to the Game Awards over on Blue Sky. Baffled they let Smash JT in there. Somebody said super cool that they let that losers who spent last several years constantly making videos harassing women though seems normal and healthy. I mean, what do they want from him?
Mm.
I, why wouldn't he go to the awards?
Yeah, if he got an invite,
Yeah, why not?
why not?
So, yeah, good for him. I like Smash JT. So,
I disagree with him on a few things, but I like him. I think he seems like a pretty genuine guy.
I mean, listen, I don't need to agree with every opinion he has, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that, my interactions with him to date have always been positive and he's always seemed like a nice guy to me. So that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Can't speak,
Well,
obviously, we were talking before at Chris Score or whatever. It's not that everybody has an opinion that I agree with every opinion that they have. There's obviously going to be certain things that I don't agree with people on, but I only can take, my experience with people or my conversations with them and if, how I feel. So that's the best I can do.
yep. Um,
Kayla Levine said if they made a Mega Man movie, they'd ruin it by making a live action and cucking him. I think it would need to be like pure animation. It would need to be like 100% an animated movie, uh, from start to finish, like what they did with the Super Mario movie. That kind of thing is what they would need to do with Mega Man. I think there's no point in bringing him to the real world or making a live action. All of that sounds like shit to me. Sorry, Sean. It would be like good if they did, like I said, if they did something like Super Mario Brothers, that would
Yep.
work.
Yeah.
Is there anything you still wanted to discuss?
No,
Professor?
did we cover all the super chats?
Oh,
Bryce?
sorry.
Did we
Yeah,
get all
yeah.
these in? I think there
Yeah,
might
no,
have.
let's do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, there were 2 that we didn't do. I'm sorry, the dead man. I'm so sorry if you're still here.
I think I mentioned it, and it was right when you stepped away, and I hadn't seen you were gone yet, and so yeah,
Oh, I'm
we
so
didn't get to
sorry,
it.
the dead
That's all
man.
right.
I apologize to you wherever you're at, that I didn't see this sooner. If I have to be fair in LGU, Supergirl.
I think it's Justice League Unlimited, the animated series.
Okay.
Yeah,
Supergirl is an arrogant
and
and naive,
naive.
but Superman shows her the ropes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I thought the characterization of Supergirl in Justice League Unlimited was excellent. I mean, that was exactly, she's kind of younger, and she's kind of does things as a person in this world as much as he does, because he's grown up around humans. He's grown up in the society, and she didn't, and so she's kind of left out of a lot of those things. The little things that we know in society just because we've been around them all our lives, and she's not there. And she's desperate to prove herself. And yeah, I think it was a really good way to represent that character. And this next one, Price, this one I have no idea about. So
okay. Are you a fan of Dario Argento's movie? If I'm not mistaken, I'm not even Googling. I'm just kind of off the top of my head. There's a guy that made, I think he's Italian, and he made these kind of, these kind of cult horror movies of sorts. I'm not sure. I'm not extremely familiar. I know that there's such a thing. I believe that that's probably also the father of Asia Argento, if it's the one that I'm thinking. And Asia Argento is the one that I don't have a good sentiment about because I always feel, I know this is, I'm going to add a disclaimer here. This is only my personal opinion. I don't know anything about this. And here at Price of Reason Studios, we only speculate on things that allegedly happen, and we have no knowledge and we take no responsibility about what I'm going to say. So if it's Asia Argento, is that the same one? Dario, let's see for a second. Dario Argento, Italian film director and screenwriter. And then let's see if his daughter is Asia Argento. I was right about everything, Professor.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have my moments.
There
Now,
you go.
the thing is that the reason why I have an issue, not with him, I mean, I can't blame him for what his daughter did, but What happened was this: is that Anthony Bourdain was dating Asia Argento uh, during the time that he self deleted himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it is my humble opinion, and this is just me speculating, I don't know anything, and this is my opinion, that she dragged him into something not good and put him in a bad situation. And I think that after some poor decision making, a guy that in the past had some issues, he himself, I mean, Anthony Bourdain, it kind of pushed him over the edge, I think. And that is
Could be.
at least a contributing factor to what happened to him there. Do you know anything about this? Do you know what I'm talking about, or you have no idea?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, okay. So basically, this Asia Argento lady, she was sort of in. I think she used to appear in European soft prawn movies.
Ah, yes.
I think from what I recall, or she wouldn't have a problem being in like naughty movies or whatever you want to call it of sorts. And sometimes she was in a movie that they filmed, I guess that wasn't a naughty one. Maybe she had like more of a regular role, and she basically in that movie there was like a child actor on the set or whatever it is. Like I don't know what role he played or what she played in the movie. In any case, years later he is briefly before his 18th birthday. They meet up in LA and they end up spending the night together.
Yeah.
So years go by, and then when the whole, Me Too movement came along, not only to first of all did it turn out that she's like, oh, I was in a she basically was saying she did stuff with Harvey W that I guess she agreed to do. She didn't agree. I don't even remember all this now. There was something with him, but suddenly this guy popped up, this former child actor, whatever he was, and he basically said that she served him grape juice.
Mm-hmm.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
This is going to get me in trouble, and I don't know how to navigate around this. Basically, his spiel is that because he hadn't turned 18 yet, him spending the night with her, uh, which he wanted to do at that moment, was considered a no-no because she was older than him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all I can say is this, and I don't know how else to explain it in a way that I don't get, in trouble here. I can only think of myself if I was close to 18 years old and an actress that appeared in, naughty movies wanted to spend the night with me. I don't think that that would be such an issue, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Meaning, it's more of a situation that, like, you call your friends and there's like a round of high fives. It's not so much a situation that years later you pop up like at age 20 something and say, yeah, well, and what really happened is that there are certain states with certain laws. I think that in the state that they were in, I don't know if this is Los Angeles or it is California or whatever it is, and the law is that because he hadn't turned 18, which he was about to, then like what she did was considered bad. So the bottom line in all of this, why I'm telling you all of this, is that he wanted money. And I guess he reached out to her and he said, "Hey, I want money. Like, don't you remember that we spent the night like all those years ago? Like, you took advantage of me or whatever it is." So at this point, she didn't know what to do. And Anthony Bourdain, which again, I'm speculating, I don't know anything, I'm an idiot, and I'm just allegedly saying stuff, and I take no responsibility. Rumor has it that Anthony Bourdain took some money and gave this, kid who was now in his 20s or whatever it is, some
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and just said, "Here's some money, kid. Now get lost." And not $2. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
opened
Paid
up
him
his
off like $380,000, I think. Yeah.
right. So he gave him some
To
money,
avoid. Yeah.
and the kid, I guess, disappeared. But then that wasn't good enough either. So the kid he wanted more. or something like that, or he said something to somebody, or he said something in the newspaper, and once that happened, that it like escalated somehow, I think that around that time, somehow, this ultimately, in my humble opinion, pushed Anthony Bourdain over the edge. And I dare say, and this is just my opinion, I don't have any way to prove it, that if Anthony Bourdain was not dating this lady, he probably would have been in a better position.
Quite possibly, yes.
I think he got caught up in something that he it put him in a bad place.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, I mean, Anthony Bourdain, I guess, didn't wanna lose, his relationship with this, naughty film actress, and just goes to show you that even with all the amidst all this, like, Me Too and whatever, women still,
Mhm.
women still have power over men.
They do. They do.
Anyhow, that was a very dark story, all because you asked me about that thing. Let's see for a second.
We like to wrap up the night by telling terrible dark stories. Just make everyone depressed and sad about people deleting themselves in Minecraft and other things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that you, I don't know. This whole thing seemed weird to me. I can only speak about myself. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I have an old fashioned view of the world. I can only speak for myself. If let's say there was like a actress that's considered like very nice looking, and I was in that position, I don't think that I would pop up 10 years later and say, "Oh, like I can't believe you did that." You know what I mean? That's just me. Can't speak for anybody else, and you're welcome to feel however you feel.
Someone was saying something about age of consent, whatever. It was California. It was 2013 when it happened. He was only 17 years old. He was only a few months past his 17th birthday. So technically, it was statutory grape juice.
I see. I thought he was closer to 18. What wasn't he? Or
It says he was only, I'm looking at the story here. It says he was only a couple months past his 17th
Oh, okay.
birthday.
I thought he was a couple months before the 18th.
She was 37.
Listen,
And,
all I
and
know is
he
this.
the age of consent in California is 18.
All I know is that nobody could have forced me at that age to get involved in such a thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
this isn't something that somebody would like be like I wouldn't know what I'm getting myself into. But that's just me, and you know what? Not my place to judge. What do I know? I could be wrong on anything. Uh, Karate Werewolf says that maybe she was a see you next Tuesday, but her dad was a good director. Maybe he
That's
was.
fine.
Maybe it's
That's
all
fine.
true.
They're different people. It's
That's
fine.
fair enough. Maybe his movies were good. I just always, when I think of him, I think of like of her. Unfortunately, but yeah, but and at the end of the day, even with all the stuff that I said about all these people, Anthony Bourdain made his own decisions, so you can't blame that on everybody else. I just feel like this kind of pushed him over the edge. So if nothing else, it didn't help a guy, especially a guy that in the past had issues. You know what I mean? When you have a guy that in the past like overcame like addictions and things like that, yeah, it's best not to put him in strange situations like that. But he made he made his decisions, and what can I do? Let's say something positive before we leave. Say something positive, Professor. I don't want everybody to
Something
leave in this
positive.
very
Uh,
depressing thing. I don't know if anybody's still here. If anybody's still here, let me know. I think I'm on a stream, but I'm not sure. Somebody tell me in the chat if you can hear me, because there was a weird glitch and I got kicked off the stream and now I'm back. I don't know where the professor is. Am I still on the stream? Am I back? Are we still here? Can anybody hear me? This is so weird. Live chat. We can, yes, we see you. Okay, great. Okay, great. So first of all, before I go, I think there's something that I want to share that I think somebody had a super chat that we didn't see. So, fan of Dario Argento's. That was so dark that we got completely booted off the system. Never bring Karate Werewolf. Never bring up Dario Argento's name
Ever.
ever. I
Never,
didn't even
ever.
I probably should have steered away from that whole topic, but it was just I knew what you were talking about, and that's all I thought about. And what can I do? Jason Webster says so many crimes against contemporary Western popular culture were released by Hollywood studios this year. Absolutely. That is very true. Thank you for the Australian $5. Good day, Mike.
Oh.
Prawn on the
Before we
Barbie.
get kicked off again, Price, I think we should just say goodnight. So
Let's say goodnight to everybody.
here's-
I don't even know if
here's-
we can do the list at this. Oh,
here's-
okay. You
I
have the
got
list.
your list. I got your list. We're good.
Birdhouse Blues, Sal the Hamster, Reach'em 842, Dude Bro Seth 420, Elizabeth Quince, Phantomunk, Elizabeth Quince, Double
Oh, I
R
got Elizabeth Quince twice. That's all right. Elizabeth Quince deserves to be mentioned twice. That's fine.
twice. She's so wonderful. She deserves to be mentioned twice.
And yeah, all right. So over on YouTube, we saw tonight we had Dead Man, Karate Werewolf, Jason Webster, Caleb Levine, Drew Gordon, Tomahawk 511, Phantom Monk, Sal the Hamster, Birdhouse Blues. And by the way, thanks for following us over to YouTube. Sorry about Rumble deciding to go nuclear and quit on us tonight. We appreciate those of you who followed us on over here. Tony Grigio, Jim Noxious, Glade Riven, Tex Rogers, Zunar J5, Mary White, Rod Neeson, Jonathan Conroy, E. Clay Thomason, Lasher, Mark S47, Inku, David Costin, Shara Mordine. We saw 6 here tonight. Samsung, Murrockstro, Mr. Cirillo, Badfoot, Isaac 556, X45, X Diamond Dog X, and Awesome 142. So great to see all of you here this evening and hanging with us through the through the mess. Whatever is going on with Rumble Studio tonight.
Yeah, it was a strange
weird one. Yep.
Anyhow, I guess thank you for being here, Professor. If there's anything you want to plug, you can do it now.
Oh, what would I plug? Well, I'll be joining the B-Sides crew as usual. I'll be joining them over on B-Roll Stage tomorrow night, hanging with them, and we're watching a classic, terrible movie, It Conquered the World, where the world gets taken over by let's just be honest. It's a giant cucumber, essentially, from Venus, conquers the world. So great classic, terrible sci-fi monster movie. We'll be watching that tomorrow night and hanging out over on the B-Roll Stage channel on both YouTube and on Rumble. So if
Cool.
Rumble decides to work.
Hopefully. Anyhow, You all have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you here Tuesday and Thursday, 11:45 p.m. Eastern on The Night Out.
Take care.
Bye.